Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and hit talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post-Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. We about to get it cracking. I'm your co-host Aramis.
40 keys.
40 keys in the house. Listen, I don't think y'all ready for what's about to happen in this episode right now, but Can I make a suggestion on what I think happened to this Bills team real quick?
You got a lot on your mind, man. You go ahead and get it off.
I do have a lot on my mind.
I
remember I messaged you earlier today, and I said
you already apologized.
I'm gonna murder Sean on the show today.
You did. You already apologized. So I mean, I can't. I'm gonna let you get
completely
it off.
Unapologetic about it. I don't care. But here's the deal. Is it possible that Brian Daboll just completely ruined Sean McDermott for Buffalo?
What you mean?
Well, I'm thinking about it from this perspective. When Sean first got here, he was the guy that, you know, I respected because he hired a bunch of veteran coaches around him. You know what I'm saying? He kind of knew that there was a lot he didn't know, right? And so you watch him pull together all of these, you know, tenured guys that have been head coaches before to kind of help guide him along his way, right? Mm-hmm. Then he gets to the point where Josh Allen really turns the corner in, I'd say, end of 2019, beginning of 2020. Is like Josh was just a completely different quarterback, right? Okay. And I think from that point, once 2020 happened and people saw that the Buffalo Bills have a real passing offense and it's dangerous and, oh, my God, maybe we need to think twice about, you know, wanting to see that team every season. Mm-hmm. And then, then Daboll, you know, kind of gets it in his mind, hey, I got Josh playing like this. You feel me? My offense is cooking. I'm basically the sauce in Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he might have been feeling himself a little bit too much. Maybe he was right. But either way, him getting into it with McDermott on a regular basis, from a standpoint of, Sean, you don't know what you're talking about on offense.
Right. You
talking about run. Bills barely ran the ball yesterday.
I have a stat on that.
What's the stat? That
is the third lowest amount of rushes by any Bills running back in the history of time.
Wow. It is what, three
He had 6 carries. He had 6 carries. No carries for Ray Davis. No carries for Ty Johnson. They had a carry for Curtis Samuel, which was that other one that Josh Allen had the other 5. Now, for extra credit, Rob Riddick in 1987 had 6 carries for 19 yards, so James Cook beat him. Thurman Thomas, 1988, 5 carries for 12 yards. Greg Bell, 1984, and these are the leading rushers in that game, so I'm not just picking anybody. Greg Bell, 4 carries for 3 yards. That's all they ran. Mm-hmm. The leading rusher, 4 carries for 3. So we add James Cook to this list.
Yeah.
6 for 20.
But how much did running the ball really hurt us yesterday? This is kind of a bunny trail really quick, but how much did not running the ball hurt us yesterday? I mean, neither defense could stop anybody.
Well, I have my own thoughts about that.
Okay, well we'll get to that in a second.
You do your thing.
Yeah, right.
You said come here. He said okay. All right.
I'm feeling it.
He said your thoughts ain't me. They don't mean a damn. Nah. So wait, did you say there's all truth, no sodium today, or did you not?
I did say all truth.
Oh, you lied. You lied to the people.
No. This is about to be true. Listen. I'm positing a theory right now. That's what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now when it comes to the way that Sean behaves now, doesn't it seem like the kind of like the jealous girlfriend type? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to let me know you love me. Like the whole reason this relationship has got to be right is because is because of me. You know what I'm saying? This is a head coach that on 4th and 2 at his own 40 decides, you know what? Even though my defense hasn't stopped all day to this point, it's almost halftime. We ain't stopped nothing. I'm going to go ahead and punt the ball and depend on my defense to try and figure something out, right? It's 4th and 2. The Rams have not been able to stop you to that point. They got you on 1 3-and-out and 1 blocked punt. That's it, right? So you do exactly what you did in the Kansas City game. You call a pass play, and if Josh can get the 2 yards running, then he gets it. If not, he's going to get it on the pass play. The Rams weren't doing anything on defense that day.
Yeah, I think he knew the offense wasn't doing anything either. That was his problem. The offense wasn't doing jack in the first half either, and we were just stagnant on both sides. Josh was, I don't want to say it, but he was ineffective in the first half. He was about 50%, 150 yards. It just wasn't his day. We didn't run the ball well. Well, we didn't run the ball at all.
Right.
And I think that McDermott he turtled because he realized that their game plan wasn't what it should have been, and they had nothing else. He knew that. Right. Off rip. And I'm not gonna go. I'll go ahead. I'm not gonna go too far off the wall.
Okay, I get you.
I'm mixing myself.
You ready too? You ready too? Ain't nothing wrong with that. So basically, the theory is because of Sean's interactions with Daboll, and Sean getting to see that even though I'm the head coach, I'm not beloved by the players like this offensive coordinator is. Mm-hmm. I'm not beloved as the head coach like the wide receivers coach is. Ain't nobody buying me no pickup trucks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not friends with the players like these guys are. This is a problem. Right? So now what you see is a team that is wholly dedicated to making Sean happy. That's really all this season has been about. The offense is exactly what Sean wants it to be. This is his vision.
Until yesterday,
okay. Right? Because he did mention in the postgame presser we didn't run the ball enough. Well, how much more were we supposed to try and run the ball against a defense that was not allowing it all day?
All right, go ahead.
So my basic point is, I think that the relationship with Daboll made Sean into this attention-seeking, need-to-be-loved type of figurehead that has steadily poisoned this offense and has believed too heavily in a defense that is not designed to work game to game. It's only designed to work against certain opponents. You've said this before multiple times. This is a defense that's built to stop the Chiefs, but it's not even built to stop the Chiefs right now. Because the Chiefs are not that pass all over the field. Like, we had 3 years of offenses throwing the ball all over the yard, and then Sean came up with his defense. A couple other people came up with too high safety, cover 3 and stuff like that to deal with that, and then it was gone. And Sean is still employing that same system, thinking, well, if they can't get out of us, if they can't get us out of nickel, well, guess what? They didn't freaking have to get you out of nickel. They didn't have to. They ate you alive with the defense that you profess is the best possible option for this defense. We have not won a game because of Sean McDermott. Not one. Not even the Chiefs game. You want to know what that was? That was Sean not being himself. That's how we ended up winning that game. When Sean becomes a different person and coaches like a different person, we win games that we should win. Yesterday was a game that we should win. But instead, you're not paying attention to what the hell your special teams coordinator is doing. You got 9 guys on the field that are supposed to try and block a punt. Correction, you got 6 guys on the line against special teams trying to block that punt with 2 guys on the outside and your kick returner. Your kick returner doesn't even know he's supposed to receive that punt. He just let it go. Mm-hmm. What if Sean is anything but the type of coach that needs the admiration, that needs the confirmation from the players, that needs the affirmation from the fans? If he's anything but that, show me some proof. because the way that he runs this team, the importance that he puts on culture, it's not winning the games that it needs to win. And those are playoff games I'm talking about. This was a playoff game. This Rams team came in fighting for their playoff lives. They played in a playoff atmosphere with the playoff intensity the entire game, and Sean was not ready for it. The players didn't get outplayed. The players did not get outplayed. That defensive scheme was not designed to work against that offense. It wasn't. They've known for years that they can't stop the run, yet they keep trying to do the same thing. We've already talked about the definition of insanity. This is beyond that.
You know what's funny about this? I'm enjoying this because this is what I did after the Broncos game last. Remember that? I went nuts after that game.
Yeah.
And now it's your turn. So I'm just sitting here letting you lament in it. I mean, I the only thing you said that I'm like, I think. Would you say that the players didn't get outplayed? What you said?
I don't think. When I said that, I'm saying that from a standpoint of the scheme wasn't right to begin with. So if the scheme wasn't right, I can't fault the players for getting beat the way they did.
Well, people like FNS I can fault.
Okay.
Yeah, I can fault that. And it's not even.
He gave it up on a few runs.
Well, he was confused a couple times. I'm like, you got to commit, my man. You got to figure out whether you're going to go here or go there. But
right.
I watched the game yesterday, and truth be told, I knew it was over in the second quarter. Second quarter, I was like, it's done.
Yeah,
because I forget what happened. It was one of the scores. It was after the punt block touchdown.
Yep.
And you saw the sideline. Everybody was like, there you go. They did a
montage
of their faces.
Yep.
They all look like dumb. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it.
You need the button?
No, I can censor myself. No, they just didn't have the juice. They had no pepper, and you could tell. So it was like we flew to Los Angeles once again, a la London, to be embarrassed. Yesterday everybody, it was a blowout. It really was a blowout. It was a 44-42 because their defense. And hats off. I will give Deion Dawkins supreme credit because if you watch the game, you'll see he had Jared Verse looking like he looked like a rookie yesterday.
Yeah,
he looked like Deion Dawkins did what he wanted with him. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, we have bright spots, but when you talk about running the ball, you didn't even pose the threat of running anymore.
Right.
Because we've seen James Cook run into a pile and get 3 yards, get 4 yards, and that's it. But then what happens on that fifth or sixth carry? He breaks one. There's going to be a gap somewhere. You know they have a nutty blocking scheme. Their blocking scheme is not worth salt.
Right.
Because it's inconsistent. They do this on this play, but then they do this. It's backwards.
Yep.
Why didn't Ray Davis run the ball? Why didn't Ty Johnson run the ball? Why just give up? Why do we just give up on the run that fast?
But that's what happens to an offensive line when you put a bunch of when you're getting players for culture. Mm-hmm. When you're not getting players with a specific offensive scheme in mind, and you're just getting guys based off their personality and their background check, mm-hmm. like this is what you end up with. Well, we can't actually run a full-on zone scheme. We can't actually run a full-on power scheme because we don't have all the guys we need to. Right. But we can do certain things from certain types of concepts. Like, what kind of mess is that?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and if you're going to do that, you got to be dominant in what you're going to do.
Exactly.
You got to be dominant. And that's why the Lions are great. That's why they don't do a whole bunch of stuff. But the stuff they do, they're excellent at.
Right.
And the Bills they do a lot of stuff to try to confuse you, but they're not great at anything.
Right.
And we caught a lot of people. We caught a lot of people sleeping. And this was a game where we watched our defensive backfield get dismantled. And I'm not talking about the usual suspects, Taylor Rapp and DeMar Hamlin. I'm talking about the ones that are actually supposed to be good. I'm talking about you, Taron Johnson. I'm talking about you, Christian Benford. I'm talking about you, Russell Douglas. You guys look foolish out there. Take your pick. I saw elite plays by Benford, but I did not see an elite cornerback in Benford last night. I did not see an elite cornerback in Russell Douglas. We knew that already. I called him out.
Yeah.
I already did it. Taron Johnson, I said last show, I don't know what people watch him, but he ain't been that great. People say he ain't been that great. He's a name. Matt Milano. What I say about him? Don't you think maybe you should probably not play him the whole time? Like you don't just switch off like that.
Right.
Dorian Williams against Kyron Williams was the move. Kyron Williams and Corum, when they started running, that's the move. Because I'd rather have him in that run stuff versus Milano in the pass. You can put Bernard back there, let him do his thing. Yep. But no, let's just keep doing what's not working.
This was the exact reason why you put 3 linebackers on the field. You needed to be able to play your zone, and at the same time stop the run at any point.
We have the perfect 3 linebackers for that.
Exactly.
And just to address Kevin, I don't know if he knows or not, but Kyer Elam was a healthy scratch yesterday. So.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
okay.
he was a healthy scratch.
Yeah, I didn't see if he was like an inactive or
yeah, he was standing when Rasul got hurt.
Yeah,
they showed him on the bench. There was a guy in a hat.
Yeah,
that was Kyer.
That was him.
Yep, yep. Because Matt was like, Kyer. I said, Kyer ain't dressed. 'Cause I saw it earlier. I said, Kyer ain't dressed. He was like, what? I said, hey, ask your boy Babbage, and ask your boy. See, for me, if that was truly Babbage, which I'm not going to say it was or wasn't.
Rich, this ain't the episode for you, bro. This ain't the episode for you, bro. Go home, bro.
Wait, him and Vu said something pretty close though.
Well, okay, so Vu's comment, Vu's comment is whenever we lose, fire the coach. I've been saying fire the coach since day one. I don't need to say that now. I think it should already be self-explanatory. If these are the same issues that we're going to continue to face on a regular basis, and the only equity that the coach has is regular season wins, then what are we really talking about? I've heard all day long on the radio about people saying, well, this is still the winningest head coach in Buffalo.
That's not hard to do.
Right.
We've talked about this.
When you play nothing but trash cans in your division for 5-6 years straight, what do you expect to happen?
And, Sweat put Rich on 10-minute timeout.
Thank you, Sweat. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And Sword, I think Ed Oliver is hurt. I believe it's something with his hamstring. I heard that too.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, heard something with his hamstring.
Okay. Yeah,
but he got 2 pressures yesterday, so people are gonna say he sucked. Where was everybody else?
It's not even that. Like, what's frustrating about Ed Oliver and players like him on the defensive line is you've spent so much money on these guys that are so nuanced in their role.
Yep.
And you want to put all this weight and responsibility on this defensive line to do all the work for the rest of the defense. You got 4 guys responsible for the success of 7.
Mm-hmm.
Make that make sense when you've invested these kind of guys as part of that 4. Yeah. You've got a run defender who's pretty good at pressure but can't get sacks. He cannot get sacks. He cannot get sacks. You've got a defensive tackle that was supposed to be in the ilk of an Aaron Donald. You don't even equip him with a 1 tech that gives him the opportunity to do that on a regular basis. DeQuan Jones, great the last 2 years. This year, over the hill, baby. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And then you bring in Austin Jackson thinking, he's cool with DeQuan Jones and they're friends, and he's another guy that can play a little bit of 1 tech. He's a bench guy for a reason.
Right.
And then whatever else you decide to put on the other end, Von Miller and AJ Epinesa and all these other guys, like, what did you expect to happen when you made those picks more about the character than anything else? Mm-hmm. Well, Groot is a 6'6", very athletic guy. Very athletic where?
I haven't seen it.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
He moves like Chris Kelsey.
Yeah, he does. I mean, and the thing is, he's a high motor guy. He's very long. But outside of that, he doesn't have to bend. And it's okay. Like, if you had a TJ Watt already, if you had 2013 Von Miller already, if you had – okay, Groot is the move because you want somebody to show up the other side because you know those guys are not disciplined to run defense. But when you're talking about a guy you're bringing in college, he got all his sacks. I won't say all. Most of his sacks came from coverage. The coverage created the sack.
Yep.
He didn't make a move to get to the quarterback. He just had enough time to do whatever he has to do to get to the quarterback. And we knew that. It was in the scouting report. So the Bills want to get him and typecast him as this pass rusher, which couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
So I'm sitting here thinking, okay. Then you get Ed Oliver. We rehashed the conversation we had about Ed Oliver when he got drafted. It made me sick because everybody thought Aaron Donald. All he is undersized. There's no Aaron Donald in Ed Oliver except the size. Right. There's nothing there.
Exactly.
Am I saying he's not good? No, I'm not saying he's not good at all. But what I'm saying is, if that's what you want,
Aaron Donald could regularly beat 3-man triple teams.
Aaron Donald was a unit.
Right.
He was a unit for real, and he was an anomaly. And so you're trying to draft somebody and say, yeah, this is our next Aaron. No, you can't do that. You can't. Who's the next Khalil Mack? Who's the next?
Exactly.
You can't do that.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, all right, and they just want to typecast, and that's what Buffalo does. They always want to make somebody. They don't want to get somebody and make them. I want you to be the next somebody on some other team. When we can't make you him, we'll go ahead and replace you with him.
Yep.
And spend all our money. And he'll get hurt and nothing will happen.
So Kev says Groot is perfect inside. That's what I had thought was going to be the case when they when they drafted him, because you got Oliver inside, then you put Groot next to him. Groot's got the length and the strength to play defensive tackle on the inside and just be pure pass rush in there, right? But that would only work schematically. That would only work if you had a guy like a younger, like Javon Solomon. You put Javon Solomon on the outside of that, and that trio right there is enough. You could keep AJ Epinesa on the right side and just, you know what I'm saying? But that trio would work in a turbo package, rushing the passer. That's doable. But when you're talking about having Greg Rousseau be your most dependent on, I would say, pass rusher. Mm-hmm. I mean, Von Miller got to touch the quarterback
One time,
mm-hmm. Right? And for me, watching Von Miller try and get a pass rush there, he's supposed to be faster than a guy that's 6'9", 350 pounds. In Joe Alt. He is. I don't understand how you can't get around that dude. Like, Matthew Stafford, the way that offensive line played, the Buffalo Bills defensive line made that offensive line look legit. Mm-hmm. And I'm tired of seeing that on a regular basis. The idea that fans have that this is a good defense. Who the have we played? We have 2 wins over 500 or better teams, the Seahawks and the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And the Chiefs, we know them. They might as well be in our division. We know that team well enough and have such a rivalry with that team.
Somehow.
Right.
They ain't thinking about us, baby. They ain't thinking about you.
The NFL knows what it's doing by making us play them every year.
Yeah.
But that Chiefs matchup is, by design, a divisional matchup in a sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, we're going to play better against them than most teams would. But for people to be, I mean, even Vu, no disrespect, man, but you know, like, telling me to calm down. We're 10-3. We're 10-3 against trash cans. What am I supposed to say about that? When really the playoff, the only playoff caliber team that we beat is the Chiefs, and we know they go every year. But we lost to the Texans, who are third. No. Are they fourth? Yeah, Texans are fourth because they're winning their division right now. Mm-hmm. Their division is trash. Mm-hmm. So Texans are fourth in the standings, and the Ravens are
somewhere
6,
yeah,
5 or 6, somewhere around there. They'll probably end up playing the Steelers. But listen, all of this is to say, if we had better competition in our division, if the Jets and the Dolphins were what they were supposed to be this season, and the Bills were 10-3, and then we lose this game like this, I think I would feel a lot better. But when you dominate a Miami team like we have, they've only beaten us twice in the last 5 years. When you play as well as you do against a Jets team that this year they've been a complete dumpster fire. They were actually better last year as a team without Aaron Rodgers, which Absolutely. Go figure that.
Absolutely.
But when that's your primary competition, I'm not even talking about the Patriots. I don't even need to mention them. But when that's your primary competition that you have to play in 6 games a season, that's a given 6 games a season. So if you want to look at that 10-3 record, then you might as well say, okay, well, take those 6 games away. What does that make us? What does that make us? We're 4-3 against the rest of the league on our schedule. Is that good? 1 game over 500 minus the given 6 games? No. But this is what fans get trained in their brain. Oh, 10-3. And listen, miss me with the whole you can only play who's on your schedule. Miss me with that.
Well, I mean, it's true. But see, I say that because I don't care about records. You know, I say it because you have to play who they make you play. But right. You still have to win. You know, you're supposed to win the games that you play. And I say it without boasting it, you know, 10-3 means something or 9-4 means something, whatever.
But there is a college element to it, too, where the wins have to look like you should, like you were supposed to win. You know, like if you're Georgia and you're playing friggin', I don't know, Appalachian State. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in college the polls,
the
polls do that. But you know, when you look at the NFL, they're like, "Did you win? Good." You know,
that's not good enough.
But that's how the NFL is.
That's true.
You know, and that's up to us fans to not take the bait. That's up to us fans. See, Kansas City can say that. They can say, "Oh, we're with 12-1." They can say that. "Oh, we've won every game by a last-second scenario, every game pretty much." Then they can say, "Oh, we're still 12-1 because they won before." When I get that trophy, I'm gonna be a different man.
Right.
I'm gonna be a different man. And it's not that I'm talking about both sides of my mouth. And Vu, actually, you still my brother. So or sister, I don't know. But anyway, I got to make sure I cover all bases. But anyway, you know, I am of the mind when it comes to that game yesterday. This is how I think. I think we got caught with our pants down. Hey yo, yes I know. Funny story. You'll like this. So I'm talking to, no, you'll like this. I was talking to Ken earlier today. It has nothing to do with fitness pumps, nothing. I promise.
Fitness pumps?
Fitness pumps. So I'm talking earlier today, and Ken's talking about how he got into a roasting battle with some kid, and he won. They raised my hand and everything. Asked him what his roast was. It needs some work. The kid that he was roasting was in the 4th grade, told him, he said, I'm going to let you drink first. Hold on, because you're going to laugh.
Oh, you going to make me spit this out?
He said to kid, I know it, pause. Anyway, I'll do it for you. Not feeling all
right.
Snuff.
All you got to do is look now.
You just got to just do this, and I got you. Just do that, I got you. So he said, the kid said, that's why your dad went to get some milk and he ain't never coming home.
Oh, yo, I definitely would have spit the drink out.
I was like, yo. And I'm driving, I'm like, me? But then we got him talking about something else, and then I said, I was trying to be hip. I said, hey, yo. He was like, nah, Dad, ain't no hey, yo. That's a pause. I said, he said, but if Junie says it, then it is. Whatever he says is right. I said, really, Ken?
Wow.
I said, nah, he's in charge of that.
Right.
I told you like that. But anyway, yeah, he does. But yeah, I yesterday hurt me in the sense that I wanted to win. I thought we were going to win. But even if we lost, like I was texting my man, I said, even if we lose, it won't be that big of a deal. I was wrong. Because while it's not that big of a deal in the standings, something was exposed yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, they learn how to take our zone apart. Teams learn, and when we go to the playoffs, guess what they're going to do? Watch that tape.
Yep, exactly.
Because the Bills' defense is not that bad. It's not. I mean, you can say what you want about it, but the Bills' defense on paper and on the field has not been what we saw yesterday. You know, so that's an anomaly that's going to be exposed now. You know, you're looking at guys missing tackles. You're looking at guys indecisive. You're looking at – they threw a whole bunch of decision routes at our safeties, and they had 2-3 guys they had to watch at the same time.
Right.
You know, they're throwing the ball over Taron Johnson's head. They're throwing it in the little – this is stuff that's elementary. These gaps got to be – you got to watch the quarterback. He's not running. Where you going? You're not spying him. What are you doing? Yep. You know, Terrell Bernard, his little lackluster attempt at a blitz. Trash. Yep. You know – Von Miller, you know, he say what you want. You know, he had one of the 3 quarterback hits, I guess you'll call it. But then that one where he got flagged, where the guard got flagged for knocking him out. I like that, but see, there's got to be a follow up to that. Von Miller's got to force that guard to come out, and then there should be somebody looping in. Where's the blitz up that gap? Right. We don't have that in our repertoire. Right. And McDermott doesn't do that. Somebody in the comments said McDermott he depends on the front 4, doesn't blitz. Well, this is the least blitzing team he's had in Buffalo, and guess what? The only blitzing team we've had, if you want to call it that, is under Frazier. Those are the only times we had any blitzes we're talking about. So all this aggressiveness, where was it yesterday? Because when we were talking on Friday, I said, you know what? I could see him turning the corner, letting his men coach, coach of the year, whatever. Right. Then you watch yesterday, he did the same thing he did against the Chiefs all those times. He turtle shelled. He got worried.
The theme of this season, though, for the Buffalo Bills, especially the defense, and pretty much the entire time that Sean has been here, the formula has been the same. Mm-hmm. It's been get ahead of a team, play the entire game from ahead, and it's easy. Mm-hmm. This is not a defense that can play score for score and play in these games against good. Matter of fact, I've already established this, okay? And I'll say it again. Sean McDermott as a head coach before this season was below 500 against quarterbacks with a 500 or higher win percentage. You can go back and like look it up, like really look this stuff up and see who your head coach is. And to Laura's point, I get it. She's saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like it's we came within 2 in a game against a good team in their house. I am concerned about the defense and special teams. Yes, coaches make mistakes. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But here's the issue with that line of thinking. I almost wanted to bring this up right when you said it. When you show people how you can be beat, and you purposefully and by choice and by it becomes a firm decision. I am not going to let anybody change my process and what I'm doing. I am not going to let anybody change the way that I call a defense. I don't care what happens. Well, then this is what you end up with. You end up with the most points the Buffalo Bills have scored in a loss in Sean's entire head coaching career. This is the most points this team has scored in a loss. Do you want to know where this point total ranks amongst all of the Bills games? The highest we've ever scored is 56. 56 against the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. The next highest score after that is 46. I'm sorry, no, I think it's 48. It's 48 and then 44. 56, 48 points. I forget who 48 was against. That might have been the Broncos game. And then this 44. This is the third highest point total the Buffalo Bills have had, and it's a loss. Make that make sense. You are supposed to be able to adapt as the league comes to you. And you continuously, year after year after year, smirk at us and smirk at the media, and I'm more so talking about Leslie Frazier when he did it, but the idea that they can't force me out of my nickel defense, that's bull. Like I promise you, I've thought really thoroughly.
There you go. Very good.
Really?
That's a derivative pause, though.
about everything that I'm saying now, and if I should say it, because we have the division locked up. We're still the number 2 seed, but again, when it comes to what we put on tape, as you said, what are we telling teams? We're telling teams you don't have to work that hard to figure us out. We right here, and guess what? We want you to kick us in the jimmy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we think we're tough enough to take it and still beat you. And guess what? The only person on this team that has shown that they can do that is Josh Allen. That game doesn't happen the way that it happened. It doesn't become America's game of the week without Josh Allen. Josh Allen was the one that decided, no, I'm going to put the team on my back, and we're going to try and come back from this thing. Because you're right.
I mean, yeah, yes and no. See, okay. This is my sore spot, and I was going to go into that.
Okay.
Josh Allen in the first half, 151 yards. Josh Allen in the first half, 50-something% throwing. Second half, everything went off the rail. They went ballistic. We had 190 yards of yak. 190 yards of yak. Khalil Shakir, Ty Johnson. But nobody says anything about them. Nobody says them. You know,
okay,
and it drives me nuts.
No,
not you. Oh. I'm just saying this is what I get, because I was sitting next to me. I'm like, yo. I was like, so 6 touchdowns. That's cool.
No, that's a good point.
It's 6 touchdowns. It's cool.
Respect.
And I tweeted out. I said, tell me Khalil Shakir in the lead now. After that, he took that screen to the crib. He broke how many tackles? He outran people. What's elite?
Right.
What is elite?
Right. Yeah.
They said he's dropped 1 pass in 2 years. You don't get no better than that.
Yep.
So it's like, okay. And yes, Josh is fun. He's great. I get it. People latch on to him. But what about the guys at the auxiliary piece? What about Deion Dawkins, who didn't let Jarrett Verse, who was a terror to everybody else, even look at his quarterback? He meant that. You don't touch my quarterback.
Right.
You know, when what's the guy, number 0, Pop Josh Allen, David Edwards was right there in his grill. You know, there's components to this that people overlook, and I like to give them shine. I don't care about the fact that people like Josh Allen to be the MVP. He's probably going to get it. That's cool.
Yeah.
But what I want to hear, I don't want to hear, oh, we got to find a number 1 receiver. We got to find. Look what we got.
We got one.
Even you look at Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins has 23 catches, 19 for first down, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. But so I'll say this when it comes to Shakir. I think schemes matter when you're kind of dictated to who your number 1 is. You know what I'm saying? When you look at what the Patriots did, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, that the slot receiver was their number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And while the Bills may not be playing the exact same scheme, it's still West Coast based, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yep. There's some pro style concepts in there, but it's West Coast. And I think that's a big reason why Shakir ends up being the number 1. The routes that the slot receiver can run in a West Coast offense are elite. They're elite routes. They're designed specifically to get that guy open in space,
Yep.
right? And what helps that is having an elite outside receiver, which is why this offense didn't look as good as it does now until Amari Cooper got here, right? But my point in bringing all this up is this: when it comes to the players that you put in place, the train of thought should not be what players fit the locker room. The train of thought needs to be, how does this player help our scheme be better?
100%.
Right? And we've seen now year after year after year the head coach and other coaches say specifically he fits the locker room well. It's a good locker room guy. Locker room. Who cares?
I mean, if you can find somebody that fits the locker room and dominates, fine.
Right.
Do your thing. But I don't care.
But you got to choose the talent first.
Yeah, as long as he's not an unaliver, as long as he's not.
Right. If he ain't Henry Ruggs or he ain't Aaron Hernandez.
And he's not that. He's not Deshaun Watson. I'm good. Bring him
right.
Up. You know, and the thing is, like I said all the time, to the point that you just made, the locker room is so tight, they should be able to fit. My bad. I'm going to
hit it for you.
They close.
Bro.
Okay, they close.
All right.
The locker room is so close; they're close knit. There you. That's the thesaurus word right there. Oh, I'm gonna say close knit. I can't say that.
What? Close knit is
Nah, he was like.
Come on. I know he did screw face.
He was like context. No, I ain't got it.
Right.
But you know, if you got guys in your council, Josh Allen, James Cook, Amari Cooper now, you know, Khalil Shakir, you got those guys. You can bring in somebody with a little less than stellar track record. You know, all jokes aside, you know, had they brought in, you telling me right now, Jameis Winston, I'm not trying to go into like a joke thing, but like that kind of player had a checkered past. Can't get them to assimilate to what you're doing. You don't need somebody that's all about me. It's a head case, all that. But at the same time, somebody that has done stuff and might not be the best, but still not the worst. McDermott ain't looking at him, and I know that. You know that when you look at the draft. You ain't got to look at his scouting report. Look at his rap sheet. He got one. Ain't coming to Buffalo.
Right.
I don't care if he's a Heisman Trophy winner. I don't care if he's a Blitnikoff. I don't care what he does. If he has a record, guess what? 10-1, he ain't gonna be here.
Yeah. Steve says, if defense hold on, let me just pull this up. If defense is such an issue, what's the point of having a defensive minded head coach? Just asking. And why did we draft a strong safety that don't play instead of a big DT like Sweat? Listen, bro, I've been asking this all season long.
Well,
all season long.
I can answer that. Who's it, Steve Lynn?
Yeah.
I can answer that. The reason why I was cool with Cole Bishop was because I thought we were going to have a 1-2 tandem. I thought we were going to draft Cole Bishop and then draft another one or get another playmaking safety. When we talked about it on the show, you know, way back when, you said this defense runs two strong safety-ish concepts. They run synonymous safeties. I wanted that center fielder, Cam Kinch. You saw what he did on the Mac Hollins catch. That wasn't. That could have been us. You know, what about Cam Curl? He made plays, but no, we got my guy Marmar. And I'm cool with Marmar as a backup, coming in when somebody gets hurt. Yeah. I'm cool with that. But when you just rely on that, you rely on Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp got the job. You gave Curtis Samuel the job. You gave Taylor Rapp the job, and they have these minuscule contracts, which tells you what they think about the player for real. They're just trying to be cheap. They fumbled and stumbled their way into this 10-3 record. Yep. I'm sorry. But they did. They told you before the season started, we're not really going to be about nothing.
Exactly.
They told you that.
Yep.
So when they became something, oh, snap, what can we do to bolster this offense? Amari Cooper. Look, how much? 860,000? Get him on the phone. We got to do this. Right. That's what that is. They didn't go after nothing else. People were like, what else are they going to do? Nothing. Micah Hyde is not going to play any meaningful snaps on this football team.
Yeah.
So if you think he is and everybody's healthy, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I like this question from Laura. She says, can we hear you guys' top 3 things you would have changed about the game plan to obtain better results? You want to share
top
it?
3?
Or
I can go.
Okay.
First and foremost, that soft back 7. That was the most egregious defense there was no adjustment there. Nothing. So that would be number 1. Number 2 is run the ball.
Yeah.
Run the ball. Especially when Josh was getting flustered, and he really didn't even he was pressured almost not at all. He only got pressured like 8 times or something like that on drop backs, and he completed 1 pass on all pressure. So that wasn't good. But the thing was he was missing people. He was overthrowing. But it's fine. It happens. I'm not vilifying the guy for that. But I think running the ball sets up the pass, sets up the play action. Mm-hmm. Even though Josh Allen statistically is one of the worst play action quarterbacks this year, you still got to do it. Right. Because that's what you were doing before. Why do you deviate so far from your previous schemes, from your previous philosophies for this game?
Right.
Why this game? This is the game that you should be able to run. This is the game you should have been able to impose your will.
This actually would have been a good game to run some of those jet sweeps, too.
Yes. Nakua did it on us all that. Man,
3 times.
And thirdly, I would have definitely used Dorian Williams more. I would have used – when you saw Taron Johnson get cooked, it's time. Like I said, second quarter, I knew it wasn't happening. I said, Mel, it's over. He was like, no, Then at the end when they started to come back, I said, it's still kind of garbage time. It's over, though. It's just back and forth. They're not going to catch up. 10 points, 7 points, 10 points.
Yeah.
It got no further than that. So I was like, okay, this is the time where you throw it and try that 4-3 out. Because Taron Johnson's already getting cooked. I mean, he was one of the worst cornerbacks on the field yesterday, statistically, and the eye test proves that. So why not try it?
Yeah. MB41 says the obvious issue were lack of interior pressure and Rasul Douglas just getting his lunch snatched. Also, the Rams just made plays, played man in zone, and it still didn't matter. Watch the 22 guys. Yeah, we intend to. We intend to, because one of the things that you could clearly see is Douglas was getting targeted heavy in this game. Mm-hmm. And whether it's an age thing, he played better in man last year. I think it might be age. He's definitely better than he was this year in terms of man coverage. And for him to have the role of slot corner in Green Bay, you have to be able to play a good level of man coverage. So I really think for him it's just he's getting older. But again, you as a coach, whether it's defensive coordinator, whether it's defensive, backs coach or whatever, you have to be aware that in this game, you need to be able to play man coverage. I think they knew that. I think they were prepared for that in terms of telling their corners, y'all going to have to play man in this game. But to leave out your best man corner on a healthy scratch because he doesn't play well on special teams is beyond me. Because he's not as good as Jamarcus Ingram at gunning. Who cares?
That's egregious.
If he can cover Puka Nacua better, then he don't even bother with him playing. I'd rather have Kyer Elam on standby just in case we need to go cover Puka Nacua one-on-one so that we can blitz or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. But this goes back to the defensive scheme and the mindset behind the defense. This is why it's such a problem having Sean here, because these types of adjustments don't get made. They think they can make small, nuanced adjustments within the scheme, within a game, and it'll turn out fine. When you have to start taking guys off the field and putting extra guys on the field, then he becomes a problem.
Yeah.
When you recommend, hey, maybe play a little bit more base in this game so that you can get Dorian Williams on the field a little bit more, it may mean you have to take Taron Johnson off the field. But guess what? What you lose in Taron Johnson being there for coverage, which didn't seem to matter anyway, you gain in being able to shut down the run and make that team more one-dimensional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then on the flip side, when it comes to your corners, hey, Douglas, whenever we run it, you know what I mean? Like, even if you were going to be – so let me put it like this. If the Bills decided whenever we're playing man coverage, we're going to put Elam on the field, who cares if it's revealing what you're going to do on defense? Guess what? Offense already knows what you're going to do because you do the same damn thing every game. So you might as well just be as obvious with it as you possibly can while still giving yourself the best chance to win.
Right. And, I mean, to that point, it got to the point where it's like, just stop Nakua. Stop Nakua.
Double team him. Something.
Yeah, focus him. Even on Madden, you push the button, it does the thing. You push the button and go over here.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're like, nah, we got other stuff to worry about. While Nakua's just going, Max like, watch Nakua before the ball's even snapped. Watch Nakua, watch him, Nakua every time. And MB, I'm sorry, Taron Johnson did get cooked. He got cooked yesterday.
He did.
I got the stats for you. Puka Nakua went 4 of 5 for 53 yards, 2 first downs on Taron Johnson. Cooper Kupp, 2 receptions, 4 targets, 14 yards, 1 first down. Kyron Williams, 2 for 2 for 10 yards. He gave up 8 for 11, 77 yards, 3 first downs, and a yak of 46. That's not good. That's cookage.
Yep.
That's cookage. PFF even has him below average as a player yesterday. The worst player they have graded out, I can tell you, is Taron Johnson. I'm sorry, Jamarcus Ingram, and after him is Rasul Douglas. That's the pecking order for their backups or their back seven. So I mean you're talking about. I get it, and that goes into where people think they didn't get cooked, they didn't this, that, and that. It happened. And somebody here says Jeff B is at the game. He said they didn't sniff Stafford. He's not paying anybody in the D-line any big check. Now, that's all well and good, Jeff. I agree with you in theory. But what I'm afraid of is they don't pay anybody on that line a big check. But let's see who's out there that's 30 years old that they can bring in. Because that's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
they're going to go.
We can't trust these rookies to come here and do that.
So we're going to go ahead and we'll re-sign this person to a small contract and go get a high price over the hill player because they know we're going to offer them money.
Right.
And we got to stop that. We got to stop that.
Yeah. But okay, so I'm going to make a pledge right now. I am not falling for any more regular season wins. I am not falling for any other rhetoric when it comes to the Bills' wins in the regular season. I'm sorry. It's either show me the baby, and by baby I mean get me to the Super Bowl, or you got to go. To me, that needs to be the bottom line when it comes to Sean McDermott. Has he gotten us a lot of wins? Yes, but I would put so much more of that on Josh Allen and the offensive players that we've had than I would put on Sean McDermott and the defensive players that we've had. Right? I mean, I'll put it like this. When people talk about, because people have also been talking about this too, the Rams needed 44 points just to beat Josh Allen. The Rams had to play a perfect game just to beat Josh Allen. No, they didn't.
They called that a perfect game?
right.
That was
right. The Rams needed a perfect game just to beat Josh Allen. No, they easily scouted Sean McDermott's defense and decided we can kill these guys in the pass game. And they give up the run anyway. So we ain't going to have a hard time doing anything. Right? So when I look at that, and I say, okay, get rid of Sean McDermott, and people freak out. Well, who you gonna put in there? Let me ask you this: how's your boy Lindy Ruff doing in Buffalo right now?
Oh, they're on a 6-game losing streak right now,
and they have, if I'm not mistaken, one of the longest playoff droughts of any sport, somewhere around there, right?
That's correct.
what difference did nostalgia make in that head coach hiring?
But it feels good inside.
Oh, of course it felt warm and fuzzy when you did it.
Gooey.
Yeah, this was the last coach to take us to the Stanley Cup, and the year after he left us, he took that Dallas Stars team to the Stanley Cup. He's got to know how to listen. Sometimes it's not about what makes you feel good; it's about what's best for you. Right. When we hired Sean McDermott, Sean McVay was out there. Right. You didn't fight hard enough to convince that guy to come here. Granted, at the time, you didn't have Josh Allen, but guess what? Now you freaking do. And you can just about write any ticket for any head coach in the league who would love to come here and start fresh or start new with Josh Allen,
but
right?
See, yeah, that's a bogus take, not your take, but because that's how they think.
Yeah.
But the thing is with McVay, we had money when Sean McDermott came. We had money to spend.
Right.
You could say you got full autonomy. They weren't willing to give that up. They weren't, and that's what some coaches were coming to Buffalo. How much power do I have? Oh no, we got this hierarchy. This is our. No, I don't want that. I don't want to do that. Right. I can't run my own scheme. I can't do my own thing. I can't get it. And when McDermott came in, he was a character guy, which Pagula loved because Pagula had no idea what he was doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he still has no clue.
Right? There you go.
He still has no. So it's like, okay, and fans are so happy with the team, and I get it. They're so happy with both teams. The Sabres, you go like we talk about. When we see this, that, and third, we get goosebumps. And the teams are, well, the Bills aren't now, but for the majority of my life, trash.
Right.
So okay, it's not even the majority of my life anymore. Damn, I'm old. Anyway, but you get the point. The point is, fans don't want to go back. But see, you just said what I've been saying. If it ain't the Super Bowl, what do I care?
Right.
And Max said, we talked about it. I think we had the same argument a long time ago where I said, if you don't win the Super Bowl, then it's a failure at this point. Right. If you're the worst team in the league, if you're, who is that? I don't even know. Arizona, you're rebuilding. We just want to win 8 games. We just want to win 9 games. We just want to get to the playoff. The Bills have been there, done that. So when you tell me I don't care. At least if you say at least, stop the sentence.
Right.
At least stop the sentence.
Right.
And that's real because the way the Bills' mind state has to be is if it's not this, that's why he had the trophies in the field house at the time. Then he realized that's a dumbass thing to do because we're not going to win. So let me snatch this down and put something else up. Yeah. Because he realized that's too lofty of a goal because I don't have the pieces.
Right.
He won't tell that to anybody. He won't tell that to Pagula. He won't tell that to even Bean. Yep. We ain't got the pieces. Yep. And he knows it. But he keeps putting these ratty schemes out. You're not exciting. It's not exciting. Yep. When Sean Dolak came back to UB, why did he come back? Because Limbo was there. And we're having fun because it's exciting. Because we're doing twists. We're doing stunts. We're blitzing. We're exotic. Mm-hmm. The real definition of exotic. These Bills are doing the same thing they've been doing forever. Yep. They're playing old school football, expecting the front four to win. When you don't have a front four that will win the way you need them to, you got these little light in the pants linebackers who, what are they going? What block are they going to shed? Right. So that's why they're running up the gun on us like that. That's why you're saying what you see because it's a construct.
I think Roy might be sipping on something a little bit. This man talking about some these Buffalo teams make my man boobs jiggle. Do it.
Pause.
Yeah, I got to AO that one.
Hey, yo, wait. What did he say? That's crazy. No, that's wild. That's wild.
That's wild. That's right. That's
not wild.
Right.
Well, diabolical.
That's
Roy,
what it is.
Diabolical out of this.
Yeah. So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest mistake in the game, which would you say is bigger? Would you say the timeout at the goal line or the 9 players on the field during the punt last play of the game?
I would probably say the timeout at the goal line.
I think so too.
Yeah. Because everybody raves about the 9 players on the field. At that point, it was over.
Right.
It was packed in, and we knew that. So, yeah, Codrington, they want to make a big deal about him not receiving the ball. But at that point, whatever. If he didn't bring it all the way back, and they're not creative enough to have all those laterals and all that cool stuff that we see everybody else do.
Right, of course.
We're not doing that. So.
I mean, listen, they're so creative. They told Codrington, listen, don't even receive it. We got something special. We got something special lined up. Just don't even catch it.
Don't even worry about it.
The time's going to run out, but I promise you, we still got a shot. That's what they had to have been saying something like that.
Yeah, they See, that's the biggest debacle for me because that's a McDermott thing. And everybody talks about Tyler Bass. McDermott is Tyler Bass.
Yes.
If you think about it.
Yep.
The same thing keeps coming back to bite us in the butt. Wide right, wide left, whatever.
Yep, the inaccuracies.
In opportune times. It's never when it doesn't matter. It's like he blows time, we don't see it because we don't care.
Yeah.
But when he gets tight, you can tell he's tight, and the game changes.
Bro. Yo, tight covers today,
right,
bro.
I guess he's pressing. He's pressing. Your man is under the weather. He's still on pace for that.
No doubt.
Like, what?
That's the one thing that don't slip.
It's only two voices you got to pay attention to. That's why.
Steve Noble says mine will be running the ball on the goal line. So Josh said after the game that was a called play.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And what just completely surprises the heck out of me is there's actually people on the radio on my way here. People on the radio talking about
on the way here.
Right, on the way here. People talking about, well, we're not sure if Sean gets involved in that kind of stuff, or we're not sure if Sean is allowed to get involved in that.
What did they comes to his head? Said the Bee Gees?
Right. The idea that Sean would give the offensive coordinator all the autonomy on offense, but not retain an understanding with the offensive coordinator that, look, right, if I don't like what you call, you know what I'm saying? Hold on. And what makes this worse is the Houston Texans game, you could clearly see Sean McDermott saying, we need to go for the first down.
Yeah.
So that should have been lesson learned number one right there, where Sean needs to speak up. I can't keep letting this dude call these plays. I got to speak up and say something. Right. And here you are again. Oh, Brady just called a run when we only have 3 timeouts and we need all 3 of them to get the ball back and score a field goal to win the game, to go ahead by 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know what? It's a high percentage play. Let's just go with what you think, Brady. Let's just go with what you think.
Right.
You were smart enough in your own mind to tell Brady, I need an offense that runs the ball. You're going to do it my way, or you're not going to be an offensive coordinator here. Are you going to do it? Okay, you can be an offensive coordinator here. He was smart enough to do to figure out how to get his way then, but he's not now. Now he's just so simple-minded that he gives up autonomy to Joe Brady, and it's Joe Brady's fault. That's what we're going to go with? This is the same exact thought process that got our last special teams coordinator fired, and everybody was okay with that.
Right.
Sean McDermott is the first person to get up in front of the microphone and say, it's on me, it's on me, it's on me.
Mm-hmm.
Even Josh is fed up with that. Like, I'm going to be real with you. Josh Allen answered the question that really damaged Joe Brady in the grand scheme of the visuals of this game.
Mm.
Josh Allen didn't have to answer the question the way he did when he was asked, did you audible into that, or was that a called play? He could have gave you some bland rhetoric like they always do.
Mm-hmm.
But instead he answered that bad boy. It was a called play. You ain't finna put that on me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's something about the engagement, the growing out hairs. Just,
all of that.
He's like, I'm a mountain man now. I got my money. I don't care.
He's starting to come with it.
I'm a Marvel character. Well, could be.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, Laura said.
You need someone password for the all-22 footage.
I said, easy. It's effort. It was effort. I mean, it just was. Where's Elianku? Just bring him back at this point in time.
Right.
I mean, I never thought I'd say this. He was like my joke machine before the season started, because he kept coming back. I'm like, why is this dude keep? But McDermott, you need to use him. Forget about. But see, that's the part of this full youth movement. You got all these young guys, but then when you got young guys that could be about something on the cheap, you go ahead and get Austin Johnson. You go ahead and get, what was his name, Malik Williams or whatever his name was. You try that. What, just put the man in there.
Right.
You keep bringing him back for a reason. Kyer Elam, like you said, they had Lewis Seen dressing yesterday. Did you see that?
Yes, I did see that.
But Kyer Elam doesn't get a jersey. Lewis Seen gets
right.
a couple free special teams
because
snaps.
he can play special teams.
He can play special teams.
He's good at special teams.
Yeah.
You got to be good at special teams if you want to be on this. If you want to play on this team.
Still.
Yeah. Right.
That's never going to change.
So let me ask you this. And I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because I can't think of a better example to really drive the point home.
This is the AO moment.
No,
okay.
no. This to some people this might be a cancel them type of thing, but in the military, they train you up at 18, right? They drill you, they make sure you're ready, right? If they don't feel like you're ready, they either send you home or they discharge you, right? That mindset is great for war because we're talking about people's lives. You want to protect that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you are a manager, essentially, that's what a head coach is. You're a manager of a business that has such a big, what can I call it? They have such a big song and dance about the young players that are getting drafted into the league. You're a manager of a business that is in charge of going out and picking several of these young players. Why? Because it benefits your team to bring these young guys in and develop them into good to great to amazing players. Right? And when you bring these young guys in and you have the mentality of, I'm not letting this guy on the field until he shows me that he's mastered the playbook, essentially, and he's comfortable playing on special teams.
You got to do that.
What you're essentially doing is you're saying playing for this Buffalo Bills team is the same as the military's consideration of life and death.
I believe that because, I mean, he said so much in the report, right? Yeah. So, I mean, it's proven. But you don't learn, and I'm going to say it, you don't learn here until the bullets start flying. That's when you learn. Training camp is cute. OTAs are cute. But what did they tell you? What did Von Miller say after I told people that he wasn't going to do anything last year? I shouldn't have came back. I know that, Von. I owed him wings behind that. But even deeper than that, you weren't ready. I had a knee injury, and my knee injury 25 years later is still not correct. Von, you had surgery. You're in the care of the best. Take your time. Do it right. Now you're back. Now we can see a difference. But the thing is, when you talk about a team that has that mentality, we wait for Von because Von's got a name. We didn't try to draft somebody and let Von fight him for that position when he's good. You know, it's like look at the Temptations. I wish Mel was here for that. But when the one got drunk and got kicked out, what they do? Replace him right away, and they let him back in. But that was because he was ready. They place hold for these guys. Milano, they place hold for him. Yep. They didn't try to upgrade him. They don't try to upgrade on Von. They didn't try to upgrade anybody that was out for any length of time. They got Keon Coleman. I know I'm going to get canceled. I'm going to get canceled for this one, but I don't think Keon Coleman is ever going to be an upgrade on Steph Diggs.
You know what? I think everybody can agree with that, and it's sad that everybody thinks that he was supposed to replace Stephon Diggs. That's
wrong, and he said it right. I'm not Gabe. I'm not Steph. I'm Keon.
Right. Exactly.
But some people don't understand. That doesn't resonate in their heads. I'm my own person. I'm going to give you something different. And that's what I was looking for when I knew Steph was at the end of his contract, the end of his time in Buffalo. Let's get somebody that does what he does. I don't need the diva finger quote. I don't need all that stuff. But there's a lot of stuff on the field that we could use right now.
Right.
Amari Cooper doesn't even have the skill set Steph Diggs did. They're different players. Now, is he better than him or he better? No, it depends on what you want. But what I'm saying is, they didn't try. They didn't double down. They replaced Gabe. Hell, me and Mac said this. So Mac Hollins is an upgrade on Gabe Davis? Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is.
He really is. And I pose a question: would you bring him back as your fifth or sixth wide receiver? Because at this
Gabe
point in
Davis?
time, no, Mac Hollins.
Oh yeah,
yeah. No, Gabe Davis, you stay where the hell you at. You know, get well though. Get well. But yeah, I have a hard time. Yeah, Kev, he's definitely an upgrade on Gabe. You know, and I'm not sitting here saying go find the next Troy Polamalu, go find the next Sean Taylor. But damn it, Damar Hamlin and Taylor Rapp just solidified as your number 1 and number 2 safeties.
Right.
Let them beat somebody of note. Let them beat a second-round draft pick that's not Cole Bishop, who was hurt the whole OTA.
The only thing I think I can say to just keep in mind when it comes to the safeties, and I guess to a degree the team, and I think you know where I'm about to go with this.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be a bad year for the Bills. And I think they went into this season thinking, you know what? These safeties will get us through what's supposed to be a bad year. You know, and they drafted the rookie thinking he'll get a year to just sit and develop.
Yeah.
Even though nobody does that anymore. Like, literally the only time you get a year to sit and develop is when you're like a 6th or 7th round pick. That's it.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. Correct.
You know what I mean? But this dude's a 2nd round pick. Right. You got to play, my man.
That's a player.
You know what I'm
saying?
Right. But the Bills and Sean McDermott seem to treat all of these picks like they're all 7th round picks. And that doesn't benefit anybody. Listen, it's one thing. It's one thing for me to go and get my driver's license. Right? But how in the world can I get good at driving? Like, really good enough to keep up with the rest of traffic, good enough to not get into accidents, good enough to not drive scared, unless I am out there on a regular basis driving, doing all the things I need to do, going faster, seeing how that feels, right? If I go through a defensive driver's course, and then I get my license based off that, and then I get out on the road, and I'm doing 30 miles an hour in a 55 because I'm scared of what traffic feels like, that's not going to benefit nobody. But guess what? For a player to sit on the bench, that's exactly what it's like. Because when you get out on the field, it's a completely different speed from practice, from preseason, from any other simulation that you can run. Yeah. So when these guys do get out there and they haven't seen real game bullets, it don't matter what they have mastered. They're going to struggle. Okay. And then what you going to do? Yeah. You're going to have fans like us looking at you saying, what the hell did you draft him for? You had him sit for a year. He came out and played. He looked like he still didn't know what was going on out there because he's seeing live bullets for the first time. Why not let him go through those pains in year one? Because they said the same damn thing when it came to the corners. Well, we don't want to put Khair Elam out there. It's too much pressure on him. It's this and that and the other thing. When he's by far your best cover corner. Every time he's been out on the field, he's gotten a pick or he's made some kind of play. It's undeniable. He put it on tape. How can you deny this man an opportunity based off of special teams?
Wait till he goes to his next team.
Exactly. Exactly. I can't wait. I cannot wait to have the I told you so parade. I cannot wait.
Go to the Patriots or something like that.
Yo.
He's going to go in the division, go to the Jets, somewhere, and want to play against the Bills twice a year.
Yeah.
And there's going to be Bills fans. Let them go. We'll cook him twice a year. You sure about that? It might be true, but you sure about that? Would you put your house on it? Would you put your child on it? You sure about that?
Right.
So, and my man just texted me. So, Steph Diggs or he said Keanu over Steph Diggs that's your argument. That's not my argument.
That's not even the point.
No, that's not the point. But the point is, when you replace somebody, or when you had a prospect replacing somebody, you want to get better.
Right.
You want to do everything you can to find somebody better. You don't want to find somebody that's like or slightly below. We can work with them. No, because that was your team before. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, those were your team before.
Right.
So you're doing yourself a disservice when you're not getting the best you can for your dollar at those positions. Yeah. Now we're talking about replacing AJ Epinesa. I'll say he didn't do anything. So he's like basically a placeholder anywhere else. But here we give him $7 million a season and say, hey, saddle up. For what? I mean, he got 6.5 sacks last year, but that's not enough for me to really care about. In a year where we have no money, we could have probably saved that and did something else with that money. The safety position, we could have drafted Tyler Nubin, Javon Bullard. We could have drafted these guys out there hitting people right now. But instead, no, you want to rock with what we got. Taylor Rapp, he's our guy. He's a leader. No, you got to go get the young boys.
Right.
These young boys are hungry. And if you're trying to shift the paradigm for Buffalo, guess what? You got to shift the paradigm completely. You can't do what you've been doing and try to package it a different way, which is what they always do. They always say, oh, we're coming fresh. This is something new. This is what we didn't do before. We got a new coach. We got a new position coach. We got a new coordinator. No. Give me a different kind of player. Give me a different kind of scheme. That's what we're asking for. Yeah. And that's the grievance with McDermott. It's not, I think it was maybe it was Vu or somebody else said, we just had a bad game in the defense. And I'm like, oh no, it was Alpha, I think. We had a bad game, which is true. However, those things happen. But the main thing is like you said earlier, it's not just the defense that was bad, it's the management. Why did they almost double us in time of possession?
Yep.
Why did they not punt a ball into the fourth quarter? They didn't punt one time to the fourth quarter. By then it was over. They got what they wanted. The only time they got to stop before the fourth quarter was at halftime. And let's talk about that for a second. A 2-for-1 maybe? Maybe try that. I mean, they didn't try harder to score before the half. They didn't put all their eggs in that because what
That's
happened?
why the 4th and 2 was such a big deal for me.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I think for me, the defense was sucking. The offense, yes, the defense was sucking. The offense was not far behind. I'm sorry, but it had to be done,
bro.
He's killing me.
This is like one of those games you just get tired of the refs, man. Like
right,
we can't
like,
even play the game.
But it's little things like that where your coach has to step in and say, okay, this is the mind state now. We got the ball. We're down. What was it, 17 or whatever it was at half? We got to do something fast, and we got the ball after half. And Mel said it. We got the ball after half. Score now. Score later. Somebody said that the win tracker, win projection, whatever the machine, they said we were supposed to kick for the ball when we were at the 50-yard line, kick a 68-yard field goal. That made no sense.
Right.
That made zero sense. But right. The thing is not. I'm not an all-out attack on McDermott right now. That's not where I'm at with it, and I reserve you to do it, say however you want to say it, which is fine. But my thing is, I'm just frustrated with not the man, but the decisions that keep coming from the man. Yeah, that's what gets me. And it's like I've said it before. If you just change your mind state, if you just assimilate, which he did a lot of, but we still see these egregious things come up when it really matters. And I'm worried about the playoffs because this team is a playoff team. You know you're going. What are you going to do when you get there?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what it really comes down to for anybody out there who thinks I'm overreacting when I say this is not the head coach that's going to do it with us. I mean, he may listen. We may get to the playoffs, and Josh may reach a whole nother level when it comes to carrying this team and doing whatever is necessary to win games. It's not going to be because Sean McDermott coached his butt off in the playoffs. It's never been that way, right? The 13 seconds game was the best playoff game we've ever played. Didn't matter. Right. And when I say best playoff game we've ever played, I know the perfect game exists, but come on, it was the Patriots. Right. Let's be real. So
it was Mac Jones. Let's be real.
Right. So, with respect to that point, I think when we're talking about Sean McDermott's performance, so much of what gets included with the defense of Sean McDermott is this perception of equity that he has built up, right? Which gets on my last damn nerve because the NFL, any head coach would tell you when they cut a player, it's a "what have you done for me lately" league.
100%.
Right? It's a year to year. What have you done this year? What have you done last week? If that's the understanding that everybody in the NFL has, why is every fan in Buffalo operating the complete opposite of that? Well, he's been the winningest coach in the last 8 years and this and that. Josh is 28 years old. 28. You know how old Matt Stafford is?
38. Oh, 30. Wow.
He's 38. He's 10 years older than Josh Allen. He looked pretty good, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's answer this question. If we give Sean McDermott, let's just say, you know what? Let's be gracious. Let's give Sean McDermott till the end of his contract, which is next year. You now have Josh Allen going into year 30. Into his age 29 year. Right? How many more years is he going to be able to break off a 30-yard run like he did yesterday? How many more years is he going to be hurdling over guys and diving like he did, diving for touchdowns like he did in the 49ers game? How many more years are we going to get a chance to see these Josh Allen-esque plays take place in games that matter. Because at the end of the day, where Josh is headed for is where Matt Stafford is right now. He'll have probably a little bit more athleticism left in his body by the time he gets to 38. We hope, but that's the kind of quarterback we're looking at in Josh Allen, right? Do we think that with a 38-year-old Josh Allen, Sean McDermott is still going to be able to win all these kind of games this way?
No.
Hell, if Sean McVay can't do it with Matt Stafford, and mind you, they their offensive line has been injured. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp were hurt for a number of games this season, so we really saw the fullest form of that team. But still, there's a couple of people in the chat that put it there already. Oh yes, wait, here you go, Dookie Juice, right there, boom, Sean McDermott, Dookie Juice Award. We've already seen. What was I saying? What's the point I was trying to make?
Sean McDermott with the 38-year-old.
Yeah. So okay, so we've already seen that. I just lost my train of thought. The point that I was trying to get to is you have to be realistic about where Sean is in his development as a head coach and where Josh is in his career. And if you want to continue to make excuses for Sean and use the equity in your mind that Sean has built up, and possibly the equity in Terry Pegula's mind that Sean has built up, as a reason to not think that there could be something better out there, then you're fooling yourself. And you deserve every bit of unsuccess that happens when Josh finally gets over the hill and he can't hurdle people and he can't dive and he can't run for 30 yards in the game. You deserve to be as miserable as possible when all of that stuff comes to pass under Sean McDermott, because it will. It's almost already here.
Yeah, it's coming fast.
You know what I'm saying? So I happen to be of the party that while it sounds like I'm pessimistic now, I'm actually saying all of this stuff out of the optimism that there are plenty other head coaches out there that can come in and get us to the playoffs with Josh Allen. There are plenty other guys that can come in here and win 10 games a season, win 12 games a season with Josh Allen as the quarterback. Everybody seems to behave as if Josh Allen is not who Josh Allen is, as if Sean McDermott made Josh Allen. That's really what they acting like.
Right.
They out here talking about, well, Sean is the winningest. No, Josh is the winningest. How many times do I have to say this? Who is Sean without Josh? How many times do you need to hear it? How many times do the numbers need to bear it out? Sean is nothing without Josh. Nothing. And people keep giving this dude breaks. They keep making excuses for him. They keep, you know what? Somebody called into the morning show this morning and was talking about, I'm just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, that bothers me. I'm actually talking to my man right now about that. We were talking about this in June. He said, y'all weren't talking about, talking like this in June. We were. We just didn't have this.
We've been talking like this since last year.
Yeah, we didn't have this team ahead of us with 10-3. We didn't have a team that we thought had the prospect of going to the playoffs because we didn't think our front office cared enough to put a team together. We didn't know the AFC was going to be this bad. I mean, look at the construct of look at the universe, or what do you call it? Look at the landscape here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 10-3. We played nobody. We played a bunch of teams that were supposed to be somebody. Look at the Ravens. They're fighting for their life over there. Were they supposed to do that? The Chiefs, they're 12-1, but how good at 12-1 are they? Like I said earlier, I'm not a hypocrite. They did win 12 games. End of story. But however, they're not blowing anybody out. They're not a juggernaut like they've been. You're looking at the Chargers who are making some kind of noise. You're looking at the Bengals who suck. You're looking at teams that were supposed to be good that aren't. Teams that weren't supposed to be good are. And we're one of those teams. So no, we weren't talking about how to fix the team and go to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year, but at the same time we're talking about how to fix the team so we can go to the Super Bowl in the next couple of years. That's always been constant.
Right.
So it's not if you're joining now, you're thinking, oh, you guys are talking outside. No, me and you predicted a win yesterday.
Yeah.
You said we're going to be up by 10 by halftime. We're going to be close. I said, hey, I had a 2-score win.
Yeah.
So you're telling me, and that's what I love about this. So you can put everything on tape and rewind it. If you didn't say that, go watch the tape.
Right.
I said it. And no, I think your point is correct, because you're talking about what will he be, about 60 years old by then? McDermott will be 60, and Josh will be 38.
Yep.
And they're still going to be out there. It's not the same. You're not going to have Joe Brady anymore.
Right.
You're not going to have Bob Babbage anymore.
Exactly.
You're going to have somebody else, and Josh is going to have his next.
And Sean's going to have to train them up. You really want that to
Yeah.
happen? Exactly. Kevin Kaiser, welcome to the chat, my man. He says, all credit, it's hard to be a coach. I do wholeheartedly understand that. However, Buffalo started off from my tenure as a Bills fan. I started during the drought. I decided to be a Bills fan during the drought. We gave coaches 3 years, which to me is long enough. You get 3 years to get us to the playoffs or look like we're almost about to be in the playoffs. And if we don't see progression every year,
Right.
you ain't the guy. You got to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think what happened during that time was people got tired of the turnover and not tired of the leadership of the team and what the owner was doing. Because even back then, me, you, Mac, when we talked about it, we used to say it all the time. As long as Ralph Wilson's the owner, this team ain't gonna strive for better.
Yeah.
Why do they need to be better? Like, and as far as the owner's concerned, he don't want to spend the money necessary to get the guys here to make this team great. What made the Buffalo Bills in the 90s so great was it all worked under the thought process that Ralph Wilson had back then. No disrespect to Ralph Wilson whatsoever,
Right.
but he was able to achieve something with his mindset that most owners don't get a chance to achieve when they think in terms of saving money the way that Ralph Wilson did.
Right.
But because at that time there was no salary cap, there really wasn't a whole lot of competition. You can go outside of your franchise and find a guy and sign him, and he's yours forever.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you think about what you just said about being cheap. What they say about Ralph. Ralph had to spend to get to the floor.
Right.
His salary cap was illegal. He had a full team. He had to just pay somebody so he can get to the floor. That's crazy, And I'm talking to Jeff here. He said we have to lay a little off of McDermott to put some on Bean. I said, hey, I don't trust him either. I don't. I've said this on the show. I love scouting. Bean took all the joy of scouting out of my. He just wiped me clean.
Why?
Because every time they do, I'm like, what the hell was that pick about? And then they project it like it fits, like it's this thing that it's not. Greg Rousseau, and I'm like, why didn't you do that? Why did you do this? I know you say it's not really him, but I need to see. And like we talked about it. I said they can fire McDermott and let me see what Bean got without him.
Yeah, because and we both agree on that. I think when you're talking about what GMs are designed to do. Originally, it used to be the GM was, no, I build the team, you coach it. You know what I mean? It was reversed. The GM was the guy picking the players, and even though the head coach was this all-star chef that everybody knew could cook great, the GM just, gave him, 3-day-old mushrooms and rotten brown lettuce and was like, hey, go make a gourmet meal with this.
Now you're speaking my language.
You know what I'm saying? And if it didn't taste great, then people blame the chef. Right. They blame the coach, right? Well, these days it's the opposite. Whenever the Bills go to the draft, it's Brandon Beane is the chef. Right? Mm-hmm. He's the guy that can make magic happen. We've seen the trade deals that he's done. We've seen, some of the players that he's drafted that weren't Sean McDermott picks, so to speak. And we know that to some degree he can do his job well enough. And we can say well enough because we saw what Brandon Beane was a part of in Carolina when he drafted Luke Kuechly, when he drafted Starlo Tulele, when he drafted Josh Norman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's got some real names under his belt as far as guys that he's put in this league and guys that have had real Pro Bowl, All-Pro success. Mm-hmm. I mean, Matt Milano's one of those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm always really careful, to make sure I immediately get to the point you just said after, which is let's see Brandon Beane without Sean. Mm-hmm. The tough part here is I think so many people are of the mindset of, well, if you get rid of Sean, just get rid of everybody then. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm essentially saying is you have a cancer right now in your building. You have a cancer. And this cancer has basically made life extremely difficult for your quarterback. Your quarterback is that okay, in the scheme of the human body. Sean is the cancer, Josh Allen is the immune system. Josh Allen is a supercharged freaking immune system that's been fighting off all the crazy, stupid, idiotic fourth quarter decisions and defensive coaching decisions that Sean McDermott has made Josh's entire career. Right. And guess what? For Josh Allen to be where he is in the league and not having hardware and not being recognized as possibly the best quarterback in the NFL, and you know, with enough hardware could possibly go down as the best quarterback of all time. Honestly, I blame Sean for all of that. Here's why. When you look at what Sean McVay was able to do with Jared Goff, how far did Jared Goff get?
Under Sean McVay.
He got to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he got to a Super Bowl, yeah.
They lost to the Patriots.
Yeah.
I think that game was like, what, 6-9 or something like that? It's some crazy, stupid low score. It might have been 13-6. But Sean McVay, a great offensive mind, and has still shown people he's still one of the best, did it with a quarterback that we would say is not as good as Josh Allen, right? Kyle Shanahan. All the man has done has been the NFC Championship games and Super Bowl since he's been a head coach. He's done it with the last pick in the NFL, in the entire NFL draft, and a bunch of guys that haven't done anything anywhere else other than the success that they had with his team. Yep. The man got to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay? So when we're talking about guys out there who got their first start and knocked it out of the park, we start with those guys as references. Sean McDermott came into the league and he goes, 9-7.
Yeah. We
back into the playoffs. What do they go the following season? 6-10.
Yep.
6-10. 2-year span before Josh Allen got here. Sean McDermott has the same record as Rex Ryan and who's the other guy? Doug Marrone. Same record first 2 seasons. Same. Year 3, 2019, we draft Josh Allen. That is the only reason this man is still here today. That draft pick. That wasn't a Sean pick. That was a Bean pick. It was a Bean pick. It was all about size, athleticism, ability, speed, all that stuff. Sean ain't thinking about that. Sean's thinking about how's his relationship with his dad. Sean's thinking about, what is his, how close is he to his grandmother? Like, ridiculous stuff that has nothing to do with anything. This idea that this is people got on the radio this morning and literally said this is the best culture coach in the NFL.
That's great.
What is that? I didn't even know we had a category like that. Culture coach.
That's great. They make stuff up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fans have gone to that degree to make up ways to prop Sean up when there are no other real ways to do it. They use the equity to defend him and support him, and then they make up, titles and categories to give him credit. And this is the guy you want to make coach of the year.
Yep.
Mike Tomlin blows Sean out the water when it comes to coach of the year. You know why? Because he ain't had no Josh Allen the last 8 years. He ain't had none of that. He had an aging Ben Roethlisberger. He had who's the kid from Oklahoma State? The kid we played last year in the playoffs. The quarterback.
Who was it? Let me look and see. I don't know who played last year. The quarterback. Who was it?
For the Steelers?
Yeah.
Somebody give me the name. What's the name of the Steelers quarterback from last year? And then this year, Justin Fields. The minister.
No, did you see what Cato put?
What? What he put?
He said we watching the radio or Rudy, a feel good movie.
Yeah, bro, that's exactly what it. There you go. No, it's Rudolph, right? Rudolph?
Rudy.
No. Steve Lynn said.
Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph. That's who it is. Mason Rudolph. But yeah, that's exactly what this is. That's exactly what this is. Sean has given Terry Pegula everything Terry Pegula wanted when he became an owner. That's really why Sean is still here. Because if you think about it like this, when Terry first bought the team, and Terry first came with this mantra of, well, it's not about the money. If I need money, I can dig another hole. No. You don't get out of the oil game where there's way more money to be made, way more anonymity, way more freedom in terms of mobility and all that kind of stuff as a business owner. You don't get out of that game to buy an NFL team because you're not worried about money. Right. The reason you do that is because the oil game is on its way out. The power game is changing. Everything's going to batteries and electric and all that kind of stuff. So you saw years ahead of time, which any good businessman would, and you decided to get into the entertainment game. That's how you ended up here. Let's be real about that. And the only reason you're in Buffalo is because you can't be in Pittsburgh. Right. That's it. Otherwise, you would have bought something over there quickly. Right? So you come here, you buy the Sabres. Opportunity comes up to buy the Bills. The city is begging and calling and crying and basically on their knees, mouth wide, to get you to buy the Buffalo Bills. That's fine. So he buys the Bills. Then he comes with this, all of that nonsense that people are talking about. Terry Pegula saved the team. Do we feel like this team has been saved so far?
I don't think there was really a need to save the Bills. They had too big of a following. I mean, if Trump would have bought them, if Bonzo would have bought them, even in Toronto or something like that. But on the strength, the Bills weren't going anywhere just because the Bills are the Bills.
Exactly.
There was no saving of this franchise. The Sabres, that's different. They're still talking about moving them. So
right.
And I think some of the Sabres fans wouldn't mind it anymore. To answer Jeff B's question real quick, there's only been one. I don't have to go to 12. He said, "Can you name all the 12 plus sackers under McDermott?" There's only been one with 10.5. That's Leonard Floyd.
Yep.
Nobody else has had 10 sacks. Ed Oliver had 9.5.
Under Sean
McDermott, next closest.
Yeah.
I think Ed Oliver is the next closest at 9.5, and that's that. There has been nobody else that sniffed it. I was curious whether Jerry Hughes was under that regime, but he didn't do it. So there you go.
Right.
One. And that's your path. That's who you trust to define who the pass rushers are. Somebody that's never identified somebody that keep more than 10 sacks.
Right. Laura says, "Can you name some coaches you recommend?"
No, that's a nicer way of asking. Who would you want then?
Hey, Laura, I ain't say it, sis. I ain't say it. I thought it, but I ain't say it.
Who would you want though?
I mean, listen. If we have to go there, and I'm not saying it like that, like we have to go there and nothing like that.
Oh, we do because Laura said so.
Huh?
We do because Laura said so.
Well, because I respect Laura and I want to answer her questions for sure. So 3 recommendations right off the bat for me. Obviously, Ben Johnson is number 1 on my list. What he's doing with Detroit, if the Buffalo Bills job was to open up tomorrow, he would take the job immediately. You as any coordinator, any coach, anything, you don't turn down the job with Josh Allen. You just don't, right? Second guy I would go after is Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator for the Texans. We can say what we want about what the offense looks like this year. What he was able to do with a rookie quarterback who was not expected to come in and do very much at all, he created an offense that was easy for C.J. Stroud to process, that gave him wide open windows to throw to, and they also made sure to put an offensive line in front of Stroud last year, that could protect him and could make the job easy for him. That team was able to run the ball pretty well last year with 2 running backs that weren't great at all in Devin Singletary. Sorry, Tommy. And
wait, he likes him?
Yes. And
oh, okay. All right. I'm back.
So and Damian Pierce was those are two running backs in Houston, but those two guys are my top two guys right off the bat. If I had to look at another guy for a head coaching position, I would say the guy in Tampa Bay, the offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay. What he's been able to do with Baker Mayfield says it says a lot about his ability to make things easy for a quarterback. See, there's a trend here. If you get where I'm going, I'm looking at guys that can make the job easy for Josh Allen. Because to me, that needs to be on the forefront of any head coach's thought process. How can I make the game come easy to Josh Allen? How can I make Josh's job as simple and as streamlined as possible? Because when that happens, it immediately translates to W's, right? You know what? Case in point. When the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl, what was their defensive ranking?
It was low. It was really bad.
It was like, I think it was
like
27th.
Yeah, it was
26th, somewhere around there.
Bottom 5.
Right. So, I mean, can we say defense wins championships? Because they just scored more points than the other person and they won. And really, the last, I'd say 2 seasons, they've been a dominant defense. I mean, they figured out how to win both ways. But they won 2 Super Bowls without an elite defense, right? What was the Rams' defensive ranking when they won the Super Bowl? Was it that high?
No.
It wasn't. And the Bengals made that the Super Bowl that same year, played against the Rams. Their ranking, I think, was 28th in defense.
They were close. They were both pretty close to each other.
So I think it just goes to show when you have offensive-minded head coaches, and it doesn't even have to be offensive-minded head coaches. We've seen what's happened with Lamar Jackson. I'll use that as a prime example. When you look at what's happened with Lamar Jackson, when he first came into the league, it was very easy for him because the scheme kind of, it pigeonholed him in a sense. He wasn't throwing the ball all over the yard like he is now, but they put a team around him that was designed to carry itself and not have to depend on him to be great. That's what you want to do. You don't want to put your quarterback in a situation where he has to put the world on his shoulders and go win you a game. And that's all Josh has known his entire career here. He's happiest now because the people around him are all focused on winning, and he doesn't have, how can I say this? He doesn't have the overhanging intensity of Stephon Diggs, like being in his ear all the time, throw me the ball, throw me the ball, throw me the ball. I'm not saying that made Diggs a bad player or made Diggs a cancer to any degree, but there is something to be said when you feel a sense of how can I say this? What's the word I'm looking for? Not pressured, sense of freedom. It's something that expresses
relief.
Huh?
Relief.
Maybe it's relief. It's relief. Yeah, it's a sense of peace about knowing that your players are just going to do what it takes to win, right? And to be clear, I don't think there was anything wrong with what Stephon Diggs was doing because there are teams out there that all the locker room shares that sentiment. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They think intensely. They want to approach games like that. And college teams think that way too. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like Stephon Diggs was on an island. There's other players that think like that too. But that wasn't Josh's vibe.
Yeah, he was on an island in Buffalo. It was unhealthy. It was unhappy. It was uncomfortable for him and whoever was in the locker room.
Right.
Like you said. I mean, I'm along the lines of Steph Diggs. I'm like that in my professional life. People, it's funny because if you watch me on here, you would never know how I am when I work. I'm completely different when I'm working. I don't do jokes. I had other supervisors.
That I believe.
Other supervisors are like, yo, I didn't know you were this funny. That's how I work because I'm intense. Like if right now we're having issues with productivity, and I get annoyed when people have fun now because I don't want to have fun till the work is done. But I'm like the only one I feel like that right now, so it drives me insane. And there's nothing wrong with that because they're building a culture. They're building a network of trust in it. But for me, I'm like, I'm not trying to get in trouble. I'm not trying to have no red lines by my department. I take this seriously. And it's hard for me to joke when the work's not done. So Steph Diggs didn't see the work done. He's like, I'm not down with that. Maybe he really thought he was better than God. Who knows? But the point is, why wouldn't you want somebody to demand that of you and make you better? They say iron sharpens iron. What iron are they using?
Exactly.
That's just it's a phrase for them.
Right. If you stepping out the house with plastic, what do you expect?
You're good. Hey, yeah, right. It's good enough.
Hey, whoa! Don't get near my plastic, there, bro. Don't
look
get
a little sharp there, my boy.
Right.
Gotta dull that down a little bit. And I mean, I get it. And they said he had a work ethic that rivaled none. And we used to say, "Where's Josh Allen? Is he working? Why is he looking a little chunky?" And that goes along the lines for the rest of the team. We know who likes to work Khalil Shakir.
Yeah.
Because we had to see it. Yep. It wasn't evident elsewhere. We had to see somebody say it, that Eric Moles or anybody else. It's not. We don't have enough guys that they say first man in, last one out all the time. It's a cliche.
Right.
And I'm sick of it because I don't want to hear that no more. I don't care if you're the last one in. If you're the best one in, you're good to me. Yeah. If you're the best one, you good. There's no report card here. I don't take attendance. I don't need nobody that abuses the system. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you're the best thing on sliced bread, guess what? Go regulate.
Right.
And that's what the fans want. They want a healthy medium. If you're great, but you're a great teammate, you're great. But if you're great, but you're a bad teammate, you got to go. You got to go.
And that makes no sense. I mean, again, winning solves everything. It solves everything. If you got a guy like Steph Diggs who seems to be getting on everybody's nerves because he wants to win, well then just freaking win.
Right.
Like why does it have to be kumbaya whether you win or not?
Right.
And I think that's where Sean's mentality is I want my workplace to be enjoyable for me. Mm-hmm. That's really what it comes down to, because when guys were having fun without Sean, it was a problem.
Right.
They had to go. Mm-hmm. Like Chad Hall made a freaking lateral move just to get away from this dude because Sean was so mad that everybody else was having fun but him. Like, so Billy D says this was a correction game. I think this was an expose.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing because there was nothing to correct. I think to be a correction game, they had to try something and fail. What they were doing was what was tried and true for them up until yesterday. And like you said, expose, because nobody knew how to beat that defense until yesterday.
Right.
I mean, it took Matthew Stafford, who we know doesn't care about throwing interceptions. Imagine, Cleveland. I'm not even gonna say the name because I'm not gonna do it. But imagine
I'm outnumbered here, so you could probably get away. Yeah,
right. Yeah. But imagine the chances he would take. Imagine him not caring about interception. Yeah. And when you take chances, guess what happens? You win some of the chances you take.
Right.
And so that's an expose in itself. Matt Stafford's the same guy. He's a better famous I was going to say famous Winston.
You might as well say that. That's what you call him anyway.
He's a better version, but the thing is, when you go against a quarterback like that, I would like to say it's a correction game, but you can't fix it now. You don't have the pieces to do anything else. You don't have the time to reverse course and go elsewhere. You have to do what you've been doing. Right. You have to hope that you shore up something. I mean, if anything, just be glad that you don't have that caliber in the AFC anywhere. You don't have two wide receivers like that and a quarterback that is willing to use them like that. And that's kind of what I want to set up for Josh Allen to be. I want him to have two wide receivers that he can use at his disposal anytime he needs. Khalil Shakir is one. Now he's got to find another one. Dalton Kincaid was supposed to be somebody, but so far hasn't been that guy. Dawson Knox has shown, when Kincaid is out, I'm just as good. Let's do this.
Yeah.
They don't throw in the ball as much. Mac Hollins seems to be somebody Josh really likes. I guess Mac Hollins has everybody walking around with no shoes and socks on, which I have a problem with. But the coach is talking about their grounding. Everybody's in the place grounding. I'm like, yeah. I mean, but I digress. I think for this team, the whole, and that's the McDermott. That's the damnation of McDermott for me. That's where he falls apart in my eyes. The post game, the situational calls he makes, and I'll say the culture he's trying to build. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with culture, but you have to have something behind that.
Right.
And it's the end all be all for him.
Yeah. No, that's not the one I want to get up. So this was my next thought that I was going to after talking about Billy D's comment of this is a correction game. Steve says, if you thought the Rams game was eye-opening, I can't wait for what gets exposed this week against the Lions in Detroit. Let's see if we talk that winning as Bills coach next week. I think my expectation for next week is a loss after seeing what we saw today. I don't – and here's the main reason why I say that. It's not based on, we lost this game to the Rams and now you think we're going to lose every game. No. When you watch the game that the Bills played yesterday, they were beat by elite talent. Mm-hmm. They were beat by elite talent and scheme. For anybody out there who hasn't seen the Lions play yet, they have all of that and more. They don't just have two receivers that can beat you. They have a tight end that can destroy your defense. They have two running backs that can destroy your defense. They have three receivers that they can throw at you. Tim Patrick has been coming on lately. Yeah. People don't pay enough attention to him. He's out there, right? But you got to worry about Jamison Williams taking the top off your defense. So what's that going to do for the Bills' defense? Well, you got to keep your two safeties back. You can't cheat up and stop the run that way. Okay, well, if you can't cheat your safeties up and stop the run, what's going to happen? They're going to run all over this nickel defense. All over it. Yeah. And I mean, if they just want to toy with us, they'll just throw it to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's going to shake every corner we have in man coverage. Because we have to play it. Mm-hmm. Right? And then, I don't know what you do at that point, because if you think somehow you're just going to, double cover Amon-Ra St. Brown, there's Sam Laporta on the other side in the seam. We don't think Sam Laporta can beat our linebackers one-on-one. We don't think he can, go up against a safety if we decide to play cover 3 and beat a safety one-on-one. Right. The man was top 3 last year in terms of yards and touchdowns. He's an elite tight end that they barely used this season. Mm-hmm. Just sitting there, waiting. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, they run all over everybody. They've been throwing to Jamison Williams deep like crazy this season. I got him on my fantasy team. I know. And Amon-Ra St. Brown really don't have to do much, but he still gets 14 targets a game and 10 catches.
Yep. Amari Cooper got 14 yesterday. That was good.
Right.
That was good.
Right. I predicted he was going to get 100 yards. I was 5 yards short of that.
5 yards short. That's all right.
You know what I'm saying? Shakir ended up getting over 100.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
did. But that's why I think this loss is an indicator. It's more of an indicator of what we can expect to see against good teams that have elite talent, more than it is a panic thought over a loss. And I think that's what the fans out there who are saying just relax, it's regular season, just relax. That's what I think you're missing, because you're looking at this from a standpoint of it's just a loss. We have more games that we can play. It's a regular season. We haven't gotten kicked out of the playoffs. No. This is a representation of a foundational. You know what that's like? That's like if you were looking for a place to stay, and I told you about, I got this great building. It's on the Lower West Side. It's by the water. It's beautiful, brand new. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you read the reports and everything surrounded around this building. Man, foundation got leaks, and sometimes the building shakes. And 2 years ago, the building just kind of like really started to like rumble, and it kind of came apart, but they did repair since then. Like, would you want to live in that building? Most people would say, hell no, I don't want to live in that building. Yeah. Most people would, right? The reason for that is, if you know something is wrong with the foundation of a house or an apartment building or something like that, you stay away from it. Mm-hmm. But people seem to they forget that logic when it comes to the Buffalo Bills and his head coach. If there's a problem with the foundation of the Buffalo Bills, people just cover it up. Right. It's okay. It's not really that bad. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like someone who's been tortured for years. That's what that sounds like. That sounds like somebody who's got I forget what the name of it, but battered syndrome or whatever, where you used to being beaten. So you make excuses to cover things up. Oh, I fell down the stairs. No disrespect to anybody who's dealing with that, but that's what people act like That's what people act like when it comes to dealing with the thought of the foundation of this team being broken.
Yeah.
It is. And the only thing that's been patching it up so far has been the play of Josh Allen in our offense.
It's always been something. It's always been an anomaly somewhere, whether like this year. Like I said before, this year was the patch up was the demise of the AFC in general. Because let's face it, this year Josh Allen, and I think that's what gets on my nerves too. That this is his worst statistical season of his career, which is fine. But the thing is, the construct of why the Bills are 10-3 on top of the play of certain people, even James Cook and Khalil Shakir for sure, is that the competition's been bad. It's been really bad. So the foundation is cracked, and people are afraid of falling through the floor, so let's keep passing it. But at some point, you're going to fall. It's going to happen if you don't start over. While you have a Josh Allen who's relatively young, while you have Khalil Shakir on his rookie contract, while you have Keon Coleman out there, while you have Dawson Knox, while you have these guys, Deion Dawkins is 30 years old.
Right.
It's almost over.
Yeah.
And that's why me and Jeff are having a conversation on the side.
Jeff, stop distracting my co-host, man.
No, but, we're talking about bringing in. He was joking. He said bringing in all world like Earl Campbell's and this that. Yeah. I'm like, you don't have to have that to get where we want to be. My issue with this is all the guys that we've drafted. There's probably been somebody behind them that would have fit what we're trying to do a little better. When you double down on Spencer Brown and Tommy Doyle, for what? You got one of them. You double down on Russo and Boogie Basham, for what? You got one of them.
Right.
If you would, Adafeowe is not. He's no world beater. But if you would have got him and Boogie Basham instead, at least one is a pass rusher. At least one is a Von Miller light. His numbers don't reflect it, but he has the traits. You look at wide receivers. Like I said earlier. You don't want Steph Diggs, but
right.
You want that. You want that skill set.
Yeah.
Go find it. Keon Coleman is not that, and that's fine. Keon Coleman is Keon Coleman, and I'm good with that. He's going to be fine in Buffalo, but you still got to get somebody that does that because you saw what that did for Josh Allen.
Yep.
So it's a slippery slope, but you got to believe in your scouting team. You got to believe in what you see. You got to know what you're looking at, because I can throw you names until I'm blue in the face, and guess what? They're gonna go get somebody from northern Mississippi Technical College,
right, some small college.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I didn't know the school there, and they'll show you like this little snippet where it's like on somebody's 8 gig phone, they on a flip phone, you're watching a highlight reel. It's like that's what they do.
Like 13 megapixels.
That's it. It's like you see little blocks moving. But I don't know if you remember when Saran Neal got drafted from Jacksonville State.
I do.
The highlight reel tape that they've had, Christian Benford too. They both had these highlight reels. It's like, this is even a professional grade thing.
Is that even the same player?
Right. It's not,
they don't look like the same.
I thought he was black. No, he's not. Okay. But it's that kind of deal where you don't have to get blue chips everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to Georgia all the time, but don't stray away from it.
Right.
Go to some of their pro days. Check them out.
Yep.
And I mean, when's the last time we had somebody from Notre Dame? When's the last time we had somebody from I don't know, Tennessee or somebody like that? When's the last time? You go to your go-tos, Florida State, which is ACC. You go to Florida, which whatever.
Yeah.
Texas. Who's the last Texas player? I don't even remember. Aaron Williams, maybe.
Yeah.
But the point is, they're out there. They're second rounds. They're third rounds. Their bench players in the SEC are better than most starters in other conferences.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to develop people? Go ahead and do it. Show me, like you said. Show me the baby.
Yep. So 2 questions. One is a trivia series.
Oh yeah.
And the second one actually starts a whole conversation. So let me. Dang, did I just forget the second question already?
Uh-oh.
Well, let's focus on the first one. I'll get to it. It'll come back or it won't. Either way. So Josh Allen set a record for fantasy points, right?
Did he, or did Leonard Williams last week?
Well, in our league, my guy, defensive end, Leonard Williams set a fantasy record for points scored with 116 points. No, Josh Allen actually set a fantasy record for the history of fantasy with 51.88 points. It's the most points any player has scored in fantasy. I'm sorry, the most points a quarterback has scored in fantasy ever.
Yeah.
Now, 51.88, there might be some leagues where your scoring is a little bit higher, but standard scoring 51.88 for a quarterback is the highest. Do you know the other 4 quarterbacks in the top 5? Can you name the other 4 quarterbacks that scored the most points in standard scoring for a quarterback in fantasy history?
You're asking me seriously this?
Yes, I am. I'm asking the chat, too. You all take a guess.
In the history of fantasy football?
In the history of fantasy football, the top Josh Allen is now the top 5 of quarterbacks in fantasy for points scored.
Roy, go have a good night, Roy.
I'm okay with that because he came at me hard during the pregame show yesterday when I was on with Tommy. Yeah, that's all he do is drill me on that show.
Oh, you already know.
Yeah,
but let's see, is Matt Stafford in there?
Matt Stafford is not in here.
Wow. Okay. Jameis Winston, is he in there?
He is not in here.
Dang.
I'll give you a hint.
Yes.
3 pocket passers and 1 mobile quarterback.
Okay, so fantasy football goes back to the 90s, and we're going back that far?
All of these guys have played in the last 10 years.
Have played Mike Vick.
Mike Vick is number 2. He scored 49.32 points. He threw for 333 yards with the Eagles, 4 touchdowns, 80 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. The rest are pocket passers.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is not on this list.
Not on the list. Wow. Okay.
2 of these last 3 you would consider to be in that top 3 at one point with Tom Brady.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees is not.
Golly. Okay. All right.
It is not Drew Brees.
Okay. In the last 10 years, Peyton Manning, is he on there?
Peyton Manning is number 3. 462 yards, 7 passing touchdowns. Scored 46.28 points in fantasy standard scoring.
He threw for 7 touchdowns?
He threw for 7 touchdowns with the Broncos. Yeah. Yes, he did.
There's a little scrub-ass brother on there.
Yeah. This number 4 on the list, boy, he don't look so good nowadays.
You don't look good now? Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers threw for 408 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 36 rushing yards. This is back when he still ran, and 2 rushing touchdowns. He scored 45.92 points in standard scoring. Last dude might be a tough one to get, but he played for the same team as Michael Vick.
Matt Ryan?
When Michael Vick put up his numbers in fantasy, he was with the Eagles.
McNabb.
No, this player played for the Eagles in the last
Oh, yeah, you're right.
5 years.
Hurts.
Not Hurts.
What's the other?
There you go. You're on. You're close.
Wentz.
Here it comes. Not Wentz.
No?
Not
Foles?
Wentz. Foles. Nick
Foles.
Foles is number 5 all time in fantasy points scored. He threw for 406 passing yards, 7 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing yards. He scored 45.24 points in fantasy standard scoring. That dude is top 5.
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I couldn't wait to get to that one.
I was like, yo, if it's Case Keenum, I'm just going to pack it.
Okay. So what I remember vaguely what I was trying to get to. Mm-hmm. And in the thumbnail I put doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Right? Here's the point behind that I want to ask you about. when you look at the two sides of the conversation that we're having right now, you have the Buffalo Bills who, if they really want to defend their position well, if I was a lawyer and I had to argue on their behalf, I would say we didn't expect to be anywhere near this good this season.
Right.
This was not part of the plan. So all of this, making moves and what we should have drafted, we were doing all of that with the thought process that we would be 4-13. you know what I'm saying? That's what we thought we were gonna be, not 10-3 with a locked up AFC East already and still 4 games left to play.
Right.
On the other side of that, there's fans like me who are looking at this team and saying, you have Josh Allen. Every freaking season should be, how can we go for it all? Especially if you haven't done it yet. If you already won a Super Bowl, then okay, I could understand a season like this, you being caught with your pants down, being good and just being like, you know what? All right, fair enough. Fair enough. He just gave us the meanest grill over here. I'm thinking in my head, like, you have Josh Allen. How could you go into any season thinking we're gonna be bad this year? He ain't gonna allow that unless you're just gonna sit him down. But you ain't doing that. Right. So you know what I'm saying. So with those two sides in mind, does losing this game matter if you're on the side of, well, we didn't expect to be this good? Because I know it matters from my side. It
matters from my side too. So stepping away from it, no, it doesn't matter because we're just happy to be here. We're happy. We put up 42 points. Josh had 6 touchdowns. But like I said, I'm not on that side. You know me.
Yeah.
From that side, just happy to hold the glass. I'm in the door. I'm in the door. Right. I'm not in VIP, but I'm in there. You know, and it tears me apart because I know why people feel like that, and you don't have to. You don't have to. So I think, yeah. If you're looking at the Rams game in that vein and saying, we showed up against the best team that we're going to face this year in the regular season, we did good. Right. Pick your heads up. We're going to the airport. We're going to stand outside the gate with our signs. Good job, guys.
And we're satisfied with that. We have a good fuzzy feeling when we stand out there in the cold after a playoff loss, and then we go home into our beds, and then we're halfway depressed the next day at work, and nobody's talking to anybody. Like, I lived that after the 13 seconds game. I was working for the Buffalo City Mission at that point, and I walked into work, and you could hear a pin drop most of the day. Mm-hmm. It was unbelievable.
It hurts. It hurts. I mean, for somebody like me, it hurts. Especially knowing what we knew. We went into the season thinking, no big deal. I'm good with the season because we're not going to be good anyway. And so now that we're good, it's a matter of how can we stay good and make this not a fluke.
Right.
Now that we're a Super Bowl contender again, how do we make this legit and not just because we're playing nobodies? We played against the team yesterday that I really, like I told you on Friday, I have a hard time respecting the organization for no reason but because of my childhood. Remembering, back when Bettis was playing, it was like Bettis and that's it. So they had Torrey Holt and the other guy later on, but going back to the orange, the yellow and blue Rams, Eric Dickerson and a whole bunch of Bills years and then Bettis and the rest of the history. But, I think for us, for guys that really analyze and sit down and invest ourselves in the team, in the game, whatever the case may be, it hurts because you're like, this was supposed to be our measuring stick coming up in Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit was supposed to be, let's see how good we are. I want them because nobody can fall them.
Right.
But we got Swiss cheesed up last night.
Exactly.
So it's like, do I think we're gonna win? No, I have a hard time saying I think we're gonna win.
I'll put it like this: if we beat Detroit, it would feel more to me like one of those any given Sunday wins.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, well, any team can win on a Sunday. It wouldn't feel like we're supposed to win that game.
I think that's one of those things that Mac would say is a vindication game. They're angry. They're back on the East Coast. So I mean, I could see a world where they win.
Yeah. Because
they got punched in the mouth. So to whoever said it was a correction game, fine. because we didn't put our best foot forward out there when we played against St. Louis for them to look at on tape. And there's no reason for us to try to hide stuff when you got to win games. We're trying to be the number 1 seed, and that's why you play the game.
Yeah. Anything else you want to get to, man? Get off your chest or include in this conversation before we get out of here.
There's so much. So
we got time. You off today, right?
Yeah, I'm off.
Okay. Go for it.
You see, I didn't shave. I don't care.
There was no time. There was no time
none at all. So yeah, let's talk about the fast interference calls yesterday.
Let's do it.
I mean, the one on Hamlin was funny to me because yeah, it was fast interference, but he only grabbed his arm because the guy put his arm in Hamlin's chest to push off on him. Like so, of course you're gonna get that call. But the Rasul Douglas one was ridiculous because he just got stiff arm before the ball got there.
Right.
He didn't even do it. Like there was nothing there. I think Tom Brady even said, "What did he do?" I missed it because I didn't see anything. Like, he just got stiff arm, got punched in the chest, and that was it. Like, okay, so we're making these calls, but then everybody raves about the right tackle who jumped the false start.
Yep.
Kansas City's been doing that every game for years.
Game.
Every game for years. Yep. What was that? Juwan, whatever his name is.
Juwan, last name starts with a T, don't it?
Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does that religiously. So the refs obviously don't care about that. Spencer Brown, hey, try it. Well, he's 6'9", so don't do that. You're too big. They'll see you right away.
Yeah, but Joe Alders 6'9".
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, 6'9", 350 pounds.
Okay. Yeah. So Deion Dawkins maybe you do it.
Right there you go. That's it.
You
That's
do
it. Yep. Do the early jump to chip a guy.
And he's a Pro Bowler, so like that must be what he's supposed to do. He's just fast. He's lightning quick.
Yeah.
Got to get the advantage. But no, I thought those pass interference calls were egregiously ridiculous. I thought, like we talked about earlier, the resistance to taking Puka Nacua out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's easier said than let somebody else beat you. Let somebody else beat you.
Right.
I
mean, we've seen games where this year Matt Stafford had to throw the ball to Cooper Kupp 20 times,
mm-hmm.
and they lost that game. They played it. I forget who they were playing. It might have been the Vikings or I forget who they were playing, but it drove me nuts that this particular game, you make the adjustment to stop the run, and you just act as if there's nothing you can do to stop the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Really? You can't put 2 defenders at the line of scrimmage on Puka Nacua and say, try to get off the line.
Try.
We just won't let you be a part of the play. Then what? They didn't do it. Nothing. And mind you, very few defensive coordinators are that creative.
Right.
And that's part of the problem. Defensive coordinators, defensive-minded people in the NFL are usually very rigid and usually very traditionalist. It's the offensive people that are the creatives and the people that figure out how to solve problems on the fly. That's why guys like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay can do it with whoever, because they can figure out, he can only play in the pocket, he can't run, or he only does well in play action. Man, I could design an offense around that right now.
Right.
Easy.
Yep. And that's what they do. They're visionaries.
Right.
And I think that's why I'm a defensive guy, because I'm not that creative. But but yeah, I think with a defensive head coach, with a defensive guy like Bobby Babbitt, something was amiss last night.
Yeah.
Really amiss. But I don't want to see that again. I don't even care if we lose 2 more games. I don't want to see that again.
Have you ever seen a double PI call on the same play?
That?
Like the same players?
I've seen it, but not like that.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen it, but usually it's more hand fighting. It's not reactionary to getting pushed in the chest. Like usually it's like they're like just grabbing each other the whole way down. They call a double, especially when the guy catches the ball. But yeah, I was like, wow.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you about too. So thank you, Steve. He says the dude holding on to Cooper's back plate and they pick up the flag. What's the difference between grabbing a jersey and grabbing a back plate? Like, you can literally see the back plate was lifted up off of Cooper's back. Like,
yeah. Well, I can attest to that, and you're not gonna like the answer. the rule book states it has to impede his motion, it has to restrict him somehow. He just lifted his back plate. So as a Bills fan,
but if he's like pulling and you know
well,
what I mean?
it didn't change his movement. That's the problem. He didn't twist. He didn't do anything. All he did was grab his back plate, which in every sport, you know they grab at all times. They're always hold, but it's always like in here. And that's how I think it was it Robinson got away with a push. He got a big catch because he pushed, but he didn't extend his arms. He separated. I think it was on Rasul Douglas. And Matt was like, yo, I said, nobody saw it because the line is behind him, and he didn't he didn't make an accentuated movement. So, quick pop, ball's in there. That's all they care about. So that little back plate grab in the rule book, and I think they talked about it on the broadcast too. He didn't twist. He didn't pull him down. He didn't impede his movement at all. So they're probably not going to call that.
Bull.
So what does that say? Christian Benford,
I didn't
Rasul,
like that answer.
do it. Do it more.
Yeah. Laura says, for the record, Nakua played like the JA-17 of wide receivers. It was otherworldly, amazing. We need a better plan. We needed a better plan. Yeah. Kev says, if we win next week, that will change everything. No, it won't. No, it won't. Listen, I don't mean that in a mean way, but when you, the only way you could think that winning next week changes anything is if you already liked what's been going on this entire time. Like if the loss bothers you a little bit, but a win against the Lions next week fixes it for you, then you probably like a lot of what's been happening with the team to begin with. Yeah, and you don't. It doesn't sound like you really have any issues with much of what Sean McDermott has been doing. But for me and people like me, again, it comes down to the foundational point. If there's a fundamental flaw in the way you do business, I don't want anything to do with that business. The longevity of that business, the longevity of that house with a faulty foundation cannot stand forever. It will not stand forever. Yeah. At some point, it has to come crashing down. That's the law of gravity. It's the law of physics. It has to go that way, right? So if I know that, then why would I be emotionally invested in something that I know is eventually going to come crashing down?
Yeah, I think it all boils down to just this: McDermott's been maxed out.
Yeah.
He's been maxed out. Like, he did a lot of good. Yeah, he's done a lot of good for the team. And it's not just, not just a drought, not all that. But he's built something. And we've seen how far it goes, divisional round. Now, we gave him years and years to bring in something that's going to get him past that round. We gave him years and years to trust something that's going to get him past that round. It hasn't proven to be so. So, at this point in time, people are just hungry for a chance at getting pushed past that round.
They're enjoying the ride. They're enjoying the ride.
And I get it. We're in the playoffs every year. But I forget who said it, but they're talking about AFC East is the joke. The Dolphins are the next. I mean, honestly, the Dolphins are the next best thing. Point. Yep. The Patriots are going nowhere anytime. They're already talking about firing Gerard Mayo.
He's been there for 1 year.
Right, he's been there a year. They're talking about firing him. He's got a rookie quarterback. He's
not the right guy for what's the quarterback's name? Right. Drake May. He's not the right guy to tease Drake May. He wasn't the right guy in the first place, and you still hired him. Like, you knew what you were doing in the draft. You knew you were drafting a quarterback. You went and got a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah. And the thing is, he brought in, I don't remember who the offense coordinator he brought in was, but it just doesn't make sense.
Wasn't it the guy who was the head coach in Houston?
I think he left. Bill O'Brien is gone.
Oh, Bill O'Brien left.
Gone. Yeah, he's gone. Let me see.
Oh, I thought that's who they brought.
No, he left when Gerard Mayo got picked because Gerard Mayo, he wanted that job. It's Alex Van Pelt.
Alex Van Pelt. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, so you're talking about an offense that has 17 points a game. They're 31 to 32. They allowed 23 points a game. This is a bad situation. Ben McAdoo, I feel like I know that name for some reason, but at any rate.
Yeah, it does sound familiar.
Yeah, you got DeMarcus Covington, who I've never heard of. Let's see where he came from. Bill Belichick. He was a coaching assistant, defensive line officer. So now he gets a defensive coordinator job. under a rookie head. See, this is why
this is
McDermott
what
was good.
Gerard Mayo learned. Gerard Mayo learned it doesn't matter what you've done in your past. If I want you to be a defensive coordinator,
you're going to do that.
You're going to do it.
And the thing is, that's the credit that we both gave McDermott. You went out and got people that have been head coaches before. But now, what are you going to do? You got to be innovative. You got to trust him to be innovative. And I just don't trust Brady. Honestly, I don't trust Brady to be as innovative as we thought he was going to be. I don't. But this offense is like, this is not Josh Allen's offense. He's not throwing deep. Everything is dink and dunk. Everything is yak. And you got to find a balance in there somewhere, and they just don't do it. He won't do it.
Yeah.
So if Brady goes on, I'm fine with that. A lot of people would hate me for saying that. I'm okay with that if he gets a head coaching job, because I don't think he's maxing out the offense. And I think he built the offense backwards. You got Josh Allen, and you built it for like you had Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
So I mean, Fitz would kill in his offense, but Josh Allen could kill in other offenses.
Exactly. That's the point. That's the point. Steve says McDermott is the blockbuster of coaches, and we're the staff holding on, pretending not to see we are already out of business. Yeah. Netflix done already came and gone.
Yep.
Jeff says, what about Ingram? What do you mean?
The pass interference on
on that one.
Yeah, it was tough, but Ingram's gonna get that call because he's Ingram. Nobody knows who he is.
Right.
And he just came into the game. He tried to lock him up.
That wasn't happening.
That wasn't gonna happen. And the refs aren't gonna let that. Like, who's this guy? Why is he getting so handsy? Flag.
Yeah. I wish the camera would just stay on Kyrie Elam's face as he's watching Jamarcus Ingram get the pass interference call.
Put that in my notebook.
Right. Exactly. Just him sitting there, just standing there, just.
Like, wow. I could have did that.
Exactly.
He's like, I would have did the same thing.
Exactly. But he might have gotten away with it.
He might have gotten away with it. He's nuanced in that regard.
Yeah. All right. Did you have anything else?
Man, I'm just saying, it's been a pleasure. My first day off, 2 hours and 16 minutes of show. I'm parched, man.
I'm parched. Me too.
What do we do about this?
What do we have?
I mean, anybody know in the comments? What do we have? Reed's tea. 1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious, 2 parts healthy. That's what you can expect when there are only 4 ingredients. I don't even drink tea, but let me tell you, that's a good drink there. What are you doing? Head on over to Reed's. Get yourself a case or an individual. Why would you get the individual? Get your case. You won't be disappointed. What do I know? See for yourself. Reed's tea. Let them know who sent you. Post-Podium Podcast, baby.
All right. Listen, we do this every Monday and every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? But you can get a hold of us. Any one of the links. Wait. Okay. Bam, and bam. My hand is right there. Okay, perfect. Listen, you can hit us up anytime you want. We can talk ball anytime you want. I mean, my job allows me to do that. I can pretty much do whatever I want.
Mine doesn't, but I still do it. I said mine doesn't, but I still do it.
Right. That's the best part about where you work, bro. You can just still do it anyway.
I still do it.
But yeah, listen, let's get this thing cracking. All right. If you like what you saw today, if you like what you heard today, please give us a subscribe, give us a like. Hit that bell, make that thing
ring-a-ling-a-ling,
so that you can get notifications when we send notifications. Like, we are in transition as a show right now. As you can tell, we are on our own YouTube, our own Twitter. We are transitioning into a self-sustained format. We'll just say it that way, where we are trying to build this channel as much as we possibly can. We will be partnering with people. We will be doing some deals that help us to grow and get better. But I do have to say we are very close to getting our membership status up and going with YouTube. So we appreciate any help that you guys can give with that in terms of subscriptions. That would be great. We got a lot of good stuff in store for when that comes out. A lot of exclusive content for members. So we're definitely going to make it worth your while. So definitely look forward to that. The coach is in town. I'm going to see if I can get a hold of him for next week's show. So stay tuned for that. We've been, in talks, and there's been a lot of stuff going on. So I'm trying to get him back in studio. If not, get him back on video as soon as humanly possible. So just bear with me when it comes to getting Coach D's Corner back up and going again with the film review and stuff like that. Other than that, listen, any questions, concerns, anything that you wanted to contribute to the show and you didn't get a chance to, social media is there for that. Man, you got anything else before we jump?
I'm off until next Monday, so y'all can holler at me.
Ooh, you on
holla, holla.
Oh man,
holla.
We getting it in on division, boy.
Yeah,
buddy.
Yeah.
All right, listen, this has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host Aramis,
and from Melly Mac, this is 40 Keys. I'll see you later.
Man, this would have been a great one to have Melly Mac for, man.
Yeah, would have.
He couldn't make it today.
Couldn't make it.
Yeah, he'll be back Friday.
The nerve of him.
Huh? Yeah. I'm sure he'll have a lot. We can still touch back on this stuff.
Yeah,
man.
we will. We'll let him talk. We'll let him beat it off his chest.
Right. That'll work. All right, folks. Y'all have a great night. Peace.
Deuces.